Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. My name is Brian Craig, and there's certain stories that should be the number one story in the news. They should be the highlight, but they typically are not. Not because they're not newsworthy or great stories. It's because the fake news media have an agenda, and that's to undermine Republicans, defeat Republicans. See, the mainstream media are not in the news business. They call themselves news, but they're really in the business of covering up news. And this story, because it involves Ken Paxton, they don't want you to know about it. And I think this is one of the most amazing stories that the entire country should be talking about. I've got so much to cover today, but I'm going to start with this beautiful story. And it's a baby who was born, baby Gabriel, because of Republican-endorsed candidate for the United States Senate from the great state of Texas, Ken Paxton. And because Ken Paxton saved a child was born because of Ken Paxton, the media don't want you to know about this. And this is a story that could have been so tragic. It almost was. And as these leftists try to turn Texas blue, they had a big failure. Listen to this. The baby at the center of a surrogacy controversy that's captivated the country. Has it real? I mean, I've been following it, but has it taken over the country? Is the country following it? Has been born at a hospital in Texas. McKenna West gave birth to a boy who's been referred to as baby Gabriel on Wednesday morning. That's yesterday morning in the Dallas area, her attorney told the Dallas Morning News. The infant baby Gabriel will now undergo a life-saving surgery after he was diagnosed with a heart defect in the womb. Now, this story could have gone very dark. Here's the proud mother pregnant. Baby Gabriel in her tummy. Okay. The condition sparked immediate controversy and lawsuits between West, that's the mom, age 28, and the baby's biological parents, who Nasheen Gilkar and Omar Ahmed. They're Californian. Are they, with those names, are they Indian? Are they Muslim? I don't know. You tell me. As West, that's the beautiful mother there, tried to save the unborn baby's life after they requested an abortion. Can you imagine? She's the surrogate mother, and this heart condition came up, and the people that donated their eggs and sperm and all of that wanted her to abort the baby, and she stood up and said, No, I'm keeping my baby, just like Madonna and Papa Don't Preach. During her 20-week ultrasound, a doctor told the nurse from Alaska, the birth mother here is an Alaskan, and his biological parents, that there was something really wrong with the baby's heart, as no blood was flowing through the left side. West was then, hold on, lost my spot here. West was then referred to a maternal fetal medicine doctor who diagnosed the baby with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, a condition that can often be remedied with surgery immediately after birth. But the biological parents, they didn't like that. They wanted perfection. Listen to this. But that's when the child's biological parents first brought up aborting the child, something West was not on board with. When she first met with the couple from California, the contract she signed included a clause that would require her to abort the baby in the event of an anomaly. Now, an anomaly could be anything. They changed their mind. Oh, it's an anomaly. The baby's got 6 toes. Oh, an anomaly. But how can you have a contract forcing you to abort a child? Well, California liberals. West, a mother of 2, expressed concern to the Connecticut-based worldwide surrogacy specialist about the clause, but the agency told her a situation like that is rare. She went on to ask the agency if she could help financially assist the couple regarding care for the child so they wouldn't abort him, and told his parents she heard of people surviving with this condition. Despite her best efforts, Ahmed and West, that's the birth parents with two different last names, he and his wife had already, listen to these sicko liberals. Despite her best efforts, Ahmed told West he and his wife had already removed the baby's 12-week ultrasound from the fridge at home. So they've already decided the baby's dead to them. And told her she could mail the 20-week images, but to address the envelope only to him. Upon researching more about the heart condition, West found out a hospital in Dallas has had a 100% success rate in recent years, with the first of 3 surgeries an affected baby would need right after birth. She then told the surrogacy agency that she would live with a friend in Texas to mitigate the cost for the couple, but a liaison for the agency said the biological parents were still concerned about the baby's future quality of life. BS, they were concerned about being inconvenienced, these sicko liberals. West was told to officially undergo an abortion the Monday after the diagnosis, as she would be 24 weeks pregnant at the time of the abortion. West said in court documents that she was appalled at the idea that doctors would inject the baby with a solution that would stop his heart, and then he'll be literally ripped apart and dismembered as he's taken from her uterus, Live Action reported. A nurse then told West that she reached out to her friend, podcaster Ellen Fisher, who previously welcomed Live Action founder and president Lila Rose as a guest on her podcast. Lila Rose is amazing. I've interviewed Lila Rose on my podcast many years ago. Within hours, West received a text message from Fisher saying Rose would help her and her children get to Texas to meet with the doctors who could save the baby's life. Now, remember, she's a surrogate mother. So the biological parents, they want the baby aborted. They're in California. She went from Alaska to Texas for this. I couldn't believe that within 12 hours of talking to my brother, I was getting these screenshots of Ellen and Lila's text messages, and I finally felt hopeful, West said. West is the surrogate mother. From there, it just blew up, and I think the next day I was already meeting with some of the lawyers. The biological parents went on to file a $250,000 lawsuit demanding that West return the money they had paid her, as well as any additional charges. They're just cutting ties with this baby, everything. These are some real sick California leftists, aren't they? Oh, yeah. They also demanded she come to them in California to give birth, because in California, they have all these liberal laws. They would rip the baby from this woman, probably. They also demanded she come to California to give birth, but it was unclear whether they would allow doctors to perform the life-saving surgery or if they would only provide him with comfort care. Wow. They wanted her to go to California so they could take control, and these Mingala doctors that they have in the hospitals out there, they could take custody of the baby after the birth, since she's the surrogate mother, they're the biological parents, and then allow the baby to die and not give it the life-saving surgery. These are some psycho sickos. Through her attorneys, West agreed to go to California if the parents commit to providing the baby with surgery. But West has also filed a lawsuit in the Superior Court of Alaska, where she's from, seeking sole custody of the baby so she can allow doctors in Texas to treat him. On Tuesday, just a day before the birth of baby Gabriel, West secured a legal victory in her case as she petitioned a family district court in Dallas to allow the child to remain and receive potentially life-saving care. Beautiful woman. And she's brave. She stood up to these people, huh? West, that's the surrogate mother, was supported in her efforts by Texas Attorney General and Senate candidate Trump-Endorsed Ken Paxton. who submitted a brief on Monday arguing that state law requires that physicians provide medically necessary treatment. Less than 24 hours later, an associate judge issued a temporary restraining order preventing anyone from withholding or obstructing the infant's necessary treatment. The judge also appointed a legal guardian to ensure the child receives all of the necessary treatments for the condition. So the surrogate mother and Ken Paxton have saved the life of baby Gabriel. The legal win did not come with one major drawback for West, the surrogate mother, who is now forbidden from having any contact with the baby after his birth, according to Lila Rose. Oh, my goodness. Paxton praised that, and these, the biological parents who want the baby to die should not be able to get custody of this child. Paxton praised the judge for ensuring the baby will receive medical care in a statement which read, "The court has made the right decision and immediately acted to protect baby Gabriel's life and ensure he receives the care he deserves. My office utilized every tool at our disposal to protect life, and we will not back down in continuing to support baby Gabriel's well-being." This is Ken Paxton's office. "Every child in our state deserves to be cared for and protected, and that's exactly what I'll fight for." Lila Rose shared her happiness with the outcome, but stressed that she was not happy with the no-contact order. "This is deeply unjust, as baby Gabriel will be separated from the only mother he's known, left to go through surgery without her comfort or support," Rose posted on X, noting that West has been the one fighting for his protection. "Baby Gabriel is not a product," she argued. "He is a human being. His needs should be top priority. The fight must continue for baby Gabriel." I tell you, liberals are psychos, aren't they? They are psycho, sickos, and twisted people. And these liberal biological sperm and egg donors out in, because literally what they are, because this West here is a surrogate mother. They're a product of liberalism, right? They think like Nazis. They have totally dehumanized unborn children. And Ken Paxton stepped in and did one of the most heroic things I've seen a politician do. He's up there with Giuliani taking charge at Ground Zero on 9/11, President Bush at Ground Zero with the firefighter and bullhorn, and President Trump in this historic photo that I'm wearing on my shirt with the fight, fight, fight after the Never Trumpers shot him in Butler, Pennsylvania. Ken Paxton really deserves praise and recognition, especially since we're in an election year with this creep Tallarico going up against him. But this story is not getting the press it deserves because they know it shows the difference between the left and the right. The right, we are about life. The left are about death. That's the way it is. And Ken Paxton has saved the life of a child, a baby, an innocent little gift from God, and they don't want to tell you about it because it doesn't fit their narrative. Yeah, the liberals are disgusting. This is an absolutely amazing story. I mean, what an amazing story. I haven't seen a high profile, and they wanted the sperm and egg donor parents wanted the surrogate mother not only to abort the child, they said she was contractually obligated to do it, and now they're suing her for saving the baby's life. It's been a long time since I've seen a pro-life / abortion story in the news. Really, you haven't seen one of these stories in the news. It's not something we've covered because there just hasn't been an issue in the nation before. But this is a big one, and it shows another of one of the big differences between the left and the right in this country. You know, you look at the American left. What good has come out of the American left? When's the last time you can cite something good that's come out of the American left? You know, the American left are a cult of death. They want to have our borders open to bring rapists and murderers into our country. They've brought God knows how many into our country. You saw Fauci in his testimony, a psychopath. Fauci, I mean, and then this. And California was already They were trying to trick her to get back in, to get her into California, so that they could. I got to check in my text here. Okay, they were trying to trick her into traveling to California, so they could force either her into an abortion in the California courts where she wouldn't find sympathy, or take the baby after it was born and refuse the baby the life-saving health care because they didn't want to be bothered. You know, those of you that are Democrats, that are liberal, I mean, what does your party have to do for you to walk away from it? You know, the Democrat Party, you look at the Democrat Party, what is there about? I'm not talking about the Democrat Party of yesteryear, even though they were wrong then. You look at the Democrat Party of today, what is one thing about it that's an attractive quality that an American would say, hey, I'm going to be a Democrat because of the Democrats' advocacy or support of, and fill in the blank. I challenge you to do that. I think you would be very hard-pressed to do that because the left have less than zero positive things that they're advocating for today. Everything with the Democrats is a negative. It's about demeaning this country, lessening this country's role, and so much more. Now, we'll be live on the radio in a couple of minutes. I'll open up the radio show. I'm going to move on to some other things when the radio show starts, but you're welcome to call in about this because I am going to recap it on the show in a little bit, but I've got a lot of other things that we're going to cover as well. All right? This is a very, very busy news day, and there's a couple things here that I'm going to queue up here while we're getting ready. All right, because there's the media are. Let me pull this up. The mainstream media are up to no good as always, promoting some very bad things and trying to undermine the United States. We have about 90 seconds till the radio show starts. If you'd like to call in, you're most definitely welcome to do so. The number is toll free 888-465-2631. It's a toll free call, no matter where you are located, all right? 888-465-2631. And if everyone could please take a moment to like the video, I'd appreciate it. You know, when you guys like the video, that helps get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel, and that's how we grow. So make sure, guys, that you like the video, and if you get that boost option, please do that as well. If you're just joining, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk, and I'm here every morning of the week, including weekends and most afternoons as well. We got about a minute, a little less than a minute, till the radio show begins. I'm going to open on another topic, but again, you're welcome to call in about this, and I am going to go back to it in a bit. But I just saw a story a few minutes ago that's been floating around for a day, and it just ticked me off, so I'm going to get into it right at the open. Stand by. We have 30 seconds until the radio show begins. And I'm going to start with some filth that CNN are reporting because they're psychos who are, they want Iran to win the war because Trump's president. I mean, that's like most liberals, right? All right, stand by. 10 seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Welcome, one and all. I've got a lot to cover. I'm going to jump right into it. CNN is reporting a story. I'm going to play this report from CNN, and then we're going to talk about this. But CNN has been reporting that the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln, which is in the Persian Gulf, and it's part of the campaign against these lunatics in Iran. And they've been reporting two stories from the Abraham Lincoln. One, that they're out of food or forced to eat terrible food. And now they have a story that sailors are attempting to jump off of the aircraft carrier into the ocean. Listen to this. This is CNN.
That multiple sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln have tried to jump overboard amid poor conditions and mental stress on the ship. This is according to new reporting from the Military Times, which spoke to the wife of one of those sailors, who says she's spoken to her husband only a handful of times since he tried to jump. He is now on a medical hold. The Military Times is also reporting severe food shortages on board.
Okay, I'll play more of this, and they're quoting the Military Times, so I pulled up their story, and I'm going to go to this. You know, the USS Abraham Lincoln is an aircraft carrier. There's over 5,000 sailors and Marines on board. And most of them, I would say the average age is 20-something. I know there's some that are much older, but most of them are, if you average it, because there's some teens on there too, or in their 20s, you get a group of 5,000 plus, especially with an average age in their 20s, and you're going to have people with mental illness, okay? And a sailor trying to jump off the aircraft carrier is someone suffering from mental illness. Anyway, let's get back to this on CNN.
And that sailors are running out of just basic needs: toothpaste, deodorant, soap.
Toothpaste,
This
soap.
crew has been at sea for 9 months.
9 months. 9 months. Do you know what the tour of duty was in the Second World War? How long was the tour of duty? In Vietnam, I believe it was 13 months. But do you know how long a tour of duty was in the Second World War? Till the war was won. There was no tour of duty till the war was over.
Amid Trump's war in Iran. That includes 250 consecutive days without setting foot on land. 250 consecutive days. That is a record. Out front now, Natalie Olivero. She is the Military Times journalist who broke the story, and she is also a Navy veteran. Now,
okay, so let me go to the, so that's CNN. So let me go to the Military Times story, and let's go through this, okay? So the story from CNN is they're not getting proper food, and multiple sailors tried to jump off the aircraft carrier. This is the Military Times. Annabelle Loma has spoken with her husband. I'm reading from the Military Times here. Annabelle Loma has spoken with her husband only a few times since he attempted to jump overboard from the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln during his current deployment. Well, Annabelle Loma is obviously married to a mental patient who should be committed, maybe even investigated in court-martial, but certainly committed. She says communication has been difficult to come by, and now he's on medical hold. Loma, who lives in San Diego, said her husband has been repeatedly overextended before he tried to jump from the carrier. He's scared, Loma said. He thinks he'll get a dishonorable discharge, and just because he was burnt out. His 13-year-old career is ruined, just like that. That's not fair. That's not right. That's not what he should be worrying about right now. Loma said she initially received a call from the ship after the incident, but has not heard from anyone from the Navy in recent weeks. Lincoln's roughly 5,000 sailors and Marines remain on a deployment that began November 21st. The carrier has been deployed for more than 8 months while supporting U.S. military operations in the Middle East against Iran. The deployment, which was anticipated to end in May, has been extended with no publicly announced return date. In a separate incident aboard the Lincoln, a sailor on watch saw a shipmate preparing to go overboard, and he intervened, according to the sailor's wife, Maria Rodriguez. Rodriguez said her husband called out to the sailor before reaching the individual and grabbing their arms, pulling them onto the deck. Her husband told her the sailor had not yet gone over the side when he got there. 3 other sailors heard the commotion and came running to help. Rodriguez's husband told her about the incident several days after it happened. He said he hadn't felt adrenaline like that in his life, and he was just so thankful he was able to get to the sailor in time to stop them from going overboard. She did not know what happened to the sailor afterward. Separately, Stars and Stripes reported on Tuesday that sailors described an incident in which watchstanders stopped a crew member from jumping overboard. Stripes reported that the crew was informed about the incident through a ship-wide announcement. More than 200 family members attended a meeting in San Diego last week with the acting Secretary of the Navy. During a separate virtual meeting later that evening, families raised concern about sailors' mental health, exhaustion, and safety. According to MS Now, the Vice Admiral, who's commander of Naval Surface Forces, acknowledged the strain on sailors and their families during the virtual meeting. We hear you loud and clear regarding the impact on your families, the Admiral said. He described deployment resistance counselors and chaplains aboard warships, along with human factors councils designed to review factors affecting sailors' well-being and identify related risks. Those of you out there that are veterans, did you have whatever theater you were in, whether it was Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, anything? Have you ever had a deployment resistance counselor visit your unit? Or those of you that were in the Navy, did you ever have deployment resilience counselors visit you on board? Oh my goodness. This is a new one to me. The Navy has said the USS Lincoln's leadership is continuously assessing sailors' psychological readiness and that the carrier has access to counselors, chaplains, medical professionals, and other support services. The Navy did not provide a precise number of sailors who have attempted to go overboard or engaged in self-harm. Shelby Sanders, whose mother is serving aboard the Lincoln, said connecting has been difficult over the past 8 months. When her mother does manage to send a note, Sanders said she can tell she's struggling. When she can email me, she's definitely down, Sanders said. I think they've had 5 weeks of nonstop combat operations or something like that. So that makes it really tough to communicate consistently or even know if we'll be able to. It sucks, says Mom. Sanders is preparing to begin her senior year of high school without knowing whether her mother will be home for milestones that normally mark the year. I don't know how to enjoy starting my senior year when my mom isn't here, Sanders said. Will she be back before homecoming, my birthday, Christmas? I have no idea. Well, it's called a war, where there's a war going on. I'm sorry. Manuel Gravera, whose son is serving aboard the Lincoln, said he sounded exhausted, down, and worried the last time they spoke. Us being kept out there keeps wars out of our country, but it sucks having your family away. It makes the homecoming that much sweeter. The Navy father said it's difficult to stay focused when he hears about problems aboard. The Navy is preparing the Theodore Roosevelt carrier strike group to relieve the Lincoln, and that's about it of the article. Reading this article, it sounds to me like this one guy that tried to jump overboard, who was saved, like Rose and Titanic tried to jump off the back of the ship. It sounds like this one guy out of over 5,000 sailors and Marines tried to jump overboard, and he was saved. And multiple people and outlets have reported the same story over. The way CNN's talking sounds like there was like a group that were holding hands getting ready to jump overboard. Listen.
Tonight, a shocking new report that multiple sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln have tried to jump overboard amid poor conditions and mental stress on the ship. This is according to new reporting from the Military Times, which spoke to the wife of one of those sailors.
It sounds like there was one sailor that's been reported and talked about multiple times. And they're turning that into, it sounds like they're so beaten down by Iran, CNN, what a bunch of traitors they are, that they're holding hands, getting to have some kind of jumping off board ceremony. There's more, which I'll share when we get back, all right? If you're on hold, stand by. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are located. 888-465-2631. We'll take our first break of this Thursday morning. I can't believe it's already Thursday. And we'll be back with your calls and more right after this. Don't go anywhere. What do you guys think? Am I being too rough? Does it sound like one sailor tried to jump overboard and it's being reported by multiple people so it sounds like it was a group? That's what it sounds like to me. But, CNN. And I got one more thing about this, and then I'll take some calls. Now, those of you that are Medicare recipients, I want to talk to you about the free Medicare help being offered by Chapter. You know, Chapter covers the entire country. So you can call the number I'm going to give you. It's on the screen right now and also in the description of the video. You can call Chapter no matter where you are in the United States. And when you do, you'll speak with a licensed Medicare advisor who, at no cost to you, completely free, will review your Medicare plan to make sure you're in the right plan for you. Okay? And since they're nationwide, they have access to all of the over 25,000 Medicare plans that are out there. They'll make sure that you have the right plan for you that covers your doctors, your specialists, your local pharmacies, and everything else you need, and make sure that you're not paying too much. Give Chapter a call, 805-754-3033, 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033 for Chapter. All right, so where's the other? Let me pull it up here. Okay. All right, I got one more thing here on the ship. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat. All right, so click that and give me a call at 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept! Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
All right, we'll be back in about a minute, guys. So hang in there. Don't go anywhere. All right, less than a minute. Stand by. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Okay, so if you're just joining, just to recap, then I got one more on the Lincoln. So CNN is reporting that multiple sailors were attempting to jump off of the USS Abraham Lincoln, that Pete Hegseth and President Trump are overworking them. They can't handle it. So they attempted to jump off. Looking at the story, to me, it sounds like there was one sailor who's obviously mentally ill that was reported multiple times, and they're counting each time it was reported as a different sailor. Now we have another report. Listen to this. Text messages, which should be discontinued, Pete Hegseth, from our sailors. Text messages from a sailor aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. How the heck can you send text messages from a warship in a war zone during a war? That doesn't sound too safe or smart, does it? Text messages from a sailor aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln reveal no milk in 3 months and rotten food arriving at sea. Whoever sent this text message should be arrested and charged with, I don't know what crimes, but this has got to be some felonies, military felonies going on here. He reportedly wrote that almost nothing fresh makes it out except meat, because only frozen goods survive the supply run, and called it the worst deployment he has been on, with sailors who have far more behind them agreeing if they could, it could still get worse. And add that to the list of grievances, and they become almost too numerous. You know, this sounds like a mutiny. It sounds like we have mutineers on board the Abraham Lincoln. If these stories are true, right? You know, if these stories are true, if sailors are texting, there's even some photographs here, would you consider that to be a mutiny? No hot water for long stretches, laundry down for weeks, hour-long lines at the ship's store, one sailor eating half a cup of rice and 2 tortillas. Multiple sailors have reportedly attempted to jump overboard. I think we got that one taken care of. One wife said her husband sits on medical leave hold now, terrified a 13-year-old career ends in a dishonorable discharge because he's burned out. Yeah, his career's over. If he's threatening to jump off the ship, he's unfit to serve. The costs that don't make the gas sign are the ones Americans are actually paying. $1,000 a year gone from the average household. Okay, so this is some liberal jerk. And then they have photographs and screenshots of the text messages and the food, okay? And it's a text message exchange between two people. They claim one of them is from the ship. Can sailors on board the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Persian Gulf during this war text back home? For all you know, they're texting the enemy the war plans. The supply ship that comes here can't bring fruits and stuff because it can't stay fresh long enough with the time it takes to get them here. We haven't had anything fresh but meat because it's freezed. Sometimes it gets here rotten. And then they have some pictures. I'm eating cereal, but we haven't had milk in 3 months. If these stories are true, which I don't know, that's up to Pete Hegseth to determine. But if these stories are true, we have mutineers aboard the Abraham Lincoln, and I'd be very curious to know about these mutineers. Are these any of the trans sailors and Marines that Biden flooded our military with? I don't know. But something stinks here. I have never, ever heard anything like this in my life. You know, the last time I heard about text messages and DMs and things, there were, I think, was it ISIS or Al-Qaeda? I can't remember if it was ISIS or Al-Qaeda, but one of them they were using WhatsApp or Snapchat, one of those, to communicate with their friends and family back home where they were recruited for the terrorist. And we were using that to pinpoint enemy locations and military campaigns, and targeting was being done based on that. You know, if they have the ability to text message back home, which I don't know if that capability exists for sailors and Marines in the Persian Gulf, it should be stopped immediately. That sounds very wrong, very dangerous, and putting not just the operation in jeopardy, but the lives of God knows what else. And the information that that's getting out here, if it's true, okay, which I question it, but if it's true, this is highly classified information that gives more comfort and hope to the enemy, doesn't it? This is what the left are all about, man. They're about undermining morale, undermining the military, giving hope to the enemy, giving aid and comfort to the enemy, which are, of course, the Iranians. This is what they do. I'll take some calls after the bottom of the hour break. I'd like to hear from some of our veterans out there of any of the services. And if any of you are naval, we got to have some naval veterans out there too. I'd like to hear from you guys who have served on board ships. I mean, does this story seem legit to you? Does it seem like mutiny? Should these sailors be arrested? Does the story seem made up? Can sailors and Marines text from a ship in a combat zone like this? I don't know. All right, our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. It is Thursday morning. I've got a lot to cover on the program today, and I'm certainly going to do that. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. I want to talk about Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. Now, first of all, Jamie Levac at Swift Tax is local here in South Florida. And if you're in South Florida and you want to meet with Jamie Levac at Swift Tax in person, please do. You're more than welcome to. But Jamie Levac at Swift Tax can help you with your taxes no matter where you're located in the United States. You don't have to meet him in person. You can do it over a phone call or through a Zoom or something, okay? Or a FaceTime. But you are in South Florida more than welcome to meet in person. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, call Jamie Levac. He'll take care of it for you. Even if you've already made arrangements with the IRS, he can help you out on that. If you missed the tax filing deadline this year, or there's past years that you've missed, call Jamie Levac. He can help. Okay? If you're a business owner, no matter what size of business you have, whether you're a large brick and mortar business, a massive size business, you have a home-based business, or maybe you're in the gig economy like an Uber or Lyft driver or a DoorDasher, call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He does an incredible job on business taxes, can even handle your bookkeeping for you, okay? Now, those of you that owe back taxes to the IRS, you hear these national ads all the time. I've been hearing them for years. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, give us a call. We'll help you. The IRS can do this and that to you. What they leave out of that is what they charge. They charge a fortune, these big companies. And if you're in debt to the IRS, how could you afford that? Jamie Levac works with you one-on-one. He has a direct line to the IRS. He'll take care of it for you for a tiny, tiny fraction of what those companies charge that you hear on other radio stations, all right? So call or text Jamie Levac. This number rings directly to Jamie, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. We'll be right back. All right, now if you're on hold, stand by, okay? But I would really like to hear from veterans out there, in particular, those of you that have served in the Navy. I've never heard of this. This is like Jane Fonda territory we're in here. I mean, this is some really bad stuff going on. And if these sailors and Marines are texting this kind of business out, they need to be arrested, charged, and court-martialed. This is mutiny. It's treason. It's giving aid and comfort and hope to the enemy. I mean, there are so many violations here. These sailors should be going to the military prison for 20 plus years for what they're doing, if it's true. If it's true. We'll be back in a couple of minutes from the radio break. Yeah, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you are, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, it's a toll-free call. And you're all welcome to call in. And if you guys could do me the favor of liking the video, that helps so much, guys. When you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel, and that really helps a lot. Okay, grow the channel. You're basically a part, literally, a part. My marketing team, not a part of. You are my marketing team every time you like the video. So please do that. All right, let me check the time here. Hold on. When will we be back? Okay, just over a minute, and we'll be back. All right, just over a minute. I've got a lot of other stories to get into. I'm going to get back into that baby Gabriel story too that I talked about at the pre-show for the radio audience, because the media are sitting on that story because it makes Ken Paxton look like the great man that he is. And they don't want it out there because that's how the media are. They want negative stories like this, even if they are made up. They don't care. All right, less than a minute, and we'll be back, guys. Someone in the chat said, we want Trump arrested. Why would you want President Trump arrested? Is making America great again a crime in your mind? It's not a crime to make America great again. I know you would like it to be a crime, but it's not a crime. Okay, 30 seconds. 20 seconds. Yeah, CNN's disgusting. I mean, even if that story was true, it shouldn't be reported. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Steve, Martin County.
Hey, Steve, what's up?
So, do you really believe anything CNN has to say or MSNBC? They spin everything.
Well, no, I didn't say I believe it. I said the opposite. But it's being widely reported as fact, and it has to be dealt with.
Yeah. The reason why we have these problems is because two reasons. One, the fake news, and two, Obama. That's why we're in this mess.
Yeah.
Okay, with Trump-Endorsed syndrome. Okay, the news has poisoned these weak Democrats. They're weak-minded, brainwashed liberals.
Yes.
That hate America, that hate me and you, that hate the country, that hate the president. Okay.
Yes.
And really, you know, between the news and the View, these shows should be taken off the TV.
Well, what I want to find out is, and this is important stuff because, you know, there was a lot of very bizarre recruitment done during the Biden years of weirdos, freaks that shouldn't be in the service. So, you know, we need to find out, and this is up to Pete Hegseth to do it. Are there sailors on board the Abraham Lincoln that are text messaging things about the condition of the ship like this? Is this really happening? Because if it is, they are they're mutineers and traitors, and they need to be arrested.
Exactly. And you'll always get that. But I'm sure CNN blew it up and spun it a lot more than it is.
Yeah, but it's being widely reported everywhere, all around the world, and this gives aid and comfort to the enemy, the Iranians.
Right.
All right, Martin County, welcome to the program.
All right,
you take care, man. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Steve from Staten Island.
Hey, Steve. Hold on, Steve. My phones are ringing off the hook here. All right, Steve in Staten Island. What say you?
Yes. What I'm saying is this, is that Trump has been doing such a great job as a president. Anything CNN can do is to try to make us believe that Trump is screwing up or whatever. They would really stretch the truth on this thing.
Yes.
With the ships, boom.
Absolutely.
Anything to anything to stain Trump's good name or even what he's.
Well, but here's the thing: the Trump administration, Pete Hegseth in particular, needs to deal with this quickly. This story is viral. It is viral. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have one sailor who tried to jump off the ship, who was rescued. It's being reported as if there was a group holding hands together like the Hale-Bopp Comet people. I mean, this is crazy, and this needs to this needs to be investigated. We need to find out if there are things being leaked off this ship to the public. We need to. This all needs to be exposed. What's going on here?
Exactly. We have to expose what is truth and what is made up by the CNN people, and not just CNN, but I'm sure other left-wing.
I support our sailors and Marines, but hey, listen, this is not our MAGA crews on one of our beautiful celebrity cruise ships. This is a ship of war, the Abraham Lincoln. And I'm sorry that it's not a 7-day cruise and you're not eating 5-star meals every night. I mean, come on. I mean, this is really, if this is true, we have mutineers on board the Lincoln.
Yeah. I mean, this is, as you said, it's not a cruise or anything. I mean, this is a job of militariness that's got to really be, how to put it, in order or something.
Yeah.
And any little school, any little detail they're going to
Absolutely.
is going to
well, listen, Staten Island, I appreciate the call. You make some good points. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. This is Dave from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, I'm a Navy veteran, and I just wanted to make a comment if I can. I served 2 years on a surface ship and 2 years on a submarine. And how we used to get supplies, which they can do, is you go out there and meet the tender, and they can refuel your ship, and we can get our supplies. They drop it off on the bow, and then we make a human chain, and we all pass the supplies down to where they need to go, which is food and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and we also have dehydrated food as a backup in case you need it. And on the submarine, we went out for 3 months straight, no water, no sun, no nothing. And we lived on dehydrated stuff, dehydrated milk and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then our water went through reverse osmosis. That's how we get fresh water. So
you're calling BS on this story.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And on a submarine, if there's an emergency, we go surface somewhere where it's safe, and we get that person removed.
You know, I have always been under the understanding, I've always been under the understanding that the Navy, when it comes to food and such, compared to ground troops, they're doing very well.
Oh yeah, it's well, when it's peaceful, you get even better food, but when it's this, there's always a backup to a backup. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what it is.
So let me ask you, do you think it's possible that there are sailors and Marines on board the Abraham Lincoln that have the ability to text message people back home and are text messaging this type of information?
No, they wouldn't allow that because...
That's what I say.
You know, yeah. Boy, I served when cell phones wasn't really a big thing then.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they wouldn't allow that, you know.
I don't know how you would get text messaging ability in a war zone, but it may exist today. You never know. Technology is pretty advanced.
Yeah, but I highly doubt that because they know that it wouldn't come out good if they allowed.
Were you ever fed rotten food in the Navy?
No. Not only that, but we got allies, believe it or not, in bases where we can get other supplies like food and stuff that's already there. So
Exactly.
that's
The Lincoln has planes. They can fly stuff in if they have to.
Oh yeah, they bring helicopters. That's how they used to drop off the supplies because they're steady.
Yeah.
It's on a pallet.
Yeah.
And that's how we make our human chain, and we just pass
Exactly.
the boxes down.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's all.
All right, well, you brought up some good stuff. Well, this needs to be called out by Pete Hegseth. This story it's dominating CNN. It's going viral online, and it gives hope and comfort to the enemy, the Iranians. I think it needs to be dealt with swiftly.
Oh yeah, they'll try anything just to make Iran look good, you know. And unfortunately, you know, people that know, like, I'm sure you'll get other callers from the Navy. They'll say the same thing as I
We'll
did.
find out. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. You make some good points. All right. If you'd like to call in, the number is 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad for that last caller. chiming in as a Navy veteran because I was a Marine and we go on ships 6 months at a time. They're called Marine Amphibious Units and Marine Expeditionary Units. And it was only once for me. And I'll tell you, like you said, backups are backups. The dehydrated foods, of course, those individual meal packages, which are awesome. And of course, going back to the communication. Now, I was in there 6 years in the 80s, a little older. And communication, I mean, we have secure communications even back then, so now it must be, turbo. So we had guys who didn't see their newborn kids till they're like 2 or 3 months old. So, I mean, there's a cost that comes with being in the military, but there's all kinds of communication. So anyone doing other non-authorized communication, right, that's a problem right there. You're talking,
if this is true, and they're sending out information like this, which makes it look like we have lost our supply lines and everything like this, that puts the military at risk.
Yeah, that's a stretch. I mean, I get this. Hey, anything negative will do for these liberals, but come on, you draw the line somewhere. No, the military is super efficient, much more so than even when I was in the 80s. And that's a bunch of garbage.
Well, Pete Hegseth needs to come out and either say that it's not happening and it's not possible to text, or it is, and we're arresting the sailors who did it because they broke the law.
That hold these reporters accountable a little bit more. We've been talking about their lack of accountability, but come on, seriously, that's your stretch for a story. And even so, you talk about one person over. Now, the ship I was on was more like 4,000, between 2,000 Marines and 2,000 sailors. And, hey, I enjoyed it even back then when we weren't as modern. Yes, it's not a cruise ship, but what an awesome time I had on there. You talk about fitness centers and, I was an NCO, so I scurried away the areas of the ship I wasn't supposed to go to. Just, it was fun. And again, we're in the ready as we travel around the world. So say what they want, expeditionary amphibious units. At a moment's notice,
and if this is true,
we're there.
If it's true about this one guy who tried to jump overboard, you've got over 5,000 on board this aircraft carrier. You've got one mental patient who tries to do something.
Exactly.
And CNN is trying to report like there was a group of sailors who got together with some kind of pact and were going to jump off together. Come on.
Ridiculous. But that tells you how small the story is that they're trying to stretch. I mean, come on, they may as well cover something else that give them a little bit more time for their salaries. But now that's ridiculous. So
all right.
Whoever tries to take that story and run with it at all
they're sick.
Needs to find,
They're sick. All right, Chris, I appreciate the call. All right, you take care. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you have any thoughts on this story, you're more than welcome to call in. And we've gotten some Navy. I'm curious to know what the current ability for sailors to communicate back home is on board a deployed ship. Now, since we're talking about ships, why don't I talk about our MAGA cruise? Our 11th annual MAGA cruise is coming up in March, and this is a big one. We're going on the newest ship in the celebrity fleet. We have incredible destinations and incredible shore excursions. I'm talking out of the park, incredible shore excursions. We're doing onboard activities that we've never done before because it's a new ship. There's a lot of excitement with that. And, of course, you are great MAGA people, and you get to join me and Steve Kane, and we just have a great time. Join us. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and join us. It's also the 50th anniversary cruise of the Steve Kane Show, all right? When you call Ian, if you get his voicemail, leave your name and number. He will call you back. He's first of all, he deals one-on-one with everyone, okay? And two, he's a travel agent, so he travels a lot. But even when he's traveling, no matter where in the world he is, he will call you back. If he's on a ship somewhere or anything, he will call you back. Give Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot a call and join us on our 11th annual MAGA cruise in March. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. All right? Okay, we'll take our last break of the first hour and be right back. All right, now I'm going to move on to some other topics when I get back, but you are all more than welcome to continue to call in about this if you'd like. I'm disgusted by the whole story. I think it's one of the most disgusting stories I have ever seen. I am going to recap the baby story when we get back, and then I'm going to, after the top, I'll move into some other stories. But you're welcome to call in about anything I bring up throughout the program, right? Oh boy, and of course, if you're new to the program, I want to welcome everyone who's new to the program. Make sure you subscribe. And if you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, and it's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And if you all could please like the video, I'd appreciate that too. That helps so much. When you guys like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel on YouTube. So please like the video. I'm going to get into this surrogate mother and the baby that was saved by Ken Paxton out in Texas. And I went over this story in the pre-show, but I want to do it for the radio audience when we get back. This Ken Paxton, who's endorsed by President Trump, has done such an incredible and beautiful thing, and they don't want you to know about it. And the media, there's a very little reporting on it because they want that creep Tallarico to win. And this makes liberals look like what they are, a bunch of mingalas, okay? Democrats are evil. They're evil. Nothing good comes from a Democrat. Nothing. What is coming from the Democrats today that you could say is good? Can you think of anything? What is something coming from the Democrats today that is good? Do you know of anything? I can't think of anything. We'll be back in a little over a minute. Okay. Yep. If you're on hold, stand by. And again, you're welcome to call in about anything I've brought up throughout the program. When I move into another topic, you can still call in about topics I brought up earlier in the show. All right. Anything I bring up is fair game. I don't know why you would say the F word, F-mag. Why would you say that? I mean, I don't understand that. What are you, Hassan Piker? I mean, with that kind of language? The Democrats are really working pretty hard to dump Hassan Piker. I mean, he's... In less than a minute, we'll be back. Well, all of you big mouths in the chat that are disagreeing with what you're hearing, you are more than welcome to pick up the phone and call. The calls are screenless and unvetted, okay? So you're all welcome to call in. I'll talk to you all about anything you take issue with. All opinions are welcome on this program. Less than 30 seconds, we'll be back. Hang in there. All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. You're welcome to call in about anything I've brought up so far. And those of you that are veterans, in particular of the Navy, or have children that are in the service, I'd love to hear from you on their ability to communicate with you. I'd also like to hear. But I brought this story up in the pre-show. I want to bring it up to you guys in the radio audience. Ken Paxton did a beautiful and amazing thing, and the media are suppressing it because they have an agenda, right? Spin the news, silence the news, cover up the news, and get Democrats elected. And there is a baby boy who was born in Texas yesterday because of Trump-endorsed Senate candidate Ken Paxton. And this story is a beautiful story because it has a good ending so far. But it also shows you what sicko psychos Democrats are. Listen to this story. This is the story of baby Gabriel. Have you heard about baby Gabriel? Involving a surrogate mother and the egg and sperm donor birth parents. Listen to this story. The baby at the center of a surrogacy controversy was born at a hospital in Texas, according to the latest report. McKenna West is the surrogate mother, okay? McKenna West gave birth to a boy who's been referred to as baby Gabriel on Wednesday morning, yesterday, in the Dallas area. The newborn baby will now undergo a life-saving surgery after he was diagnosed with a heart defect while in the womb. The condition sparked immediate controversy and lawsuits between West, the surrogate, and the baby's biological parents, who have two different last names, Nasheen Gilkar and Omar Ahmed of California. The surrogate mother, Miss West, tried to save the unborn baby's life after the donors requested she have an abortion. During her 20-week ultrasound, a doctor told the nurse from Alaska, the surrogate, Miss West here is a nurse from Alaska. During her 20-week ultrasound, a doctor told the nurse from Alaska and his biological parents with two different last names that there was something really wrong with the baby's heart, as no blood was flowing through the left side. West, the surrogate, was then referred to a maternal fetal medicine doctor who diagnosed baby Gabriel with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, a condition that can often be remedied with surgery immediately after birth. But that's not what the egg and sperm donor parents wanted. What they told the surrogate, Miss West, they wanted her to abort the child, which she said no to. When she first met the couple from California, the contract she signed included a clause that would require her to abort the baby in the event of an anomaly. Can you imagine? Bunch of Mingelas and Ava Brauns out there and Adolf Eichmanns in California. That's your Democrat Party. The surrogate West is a mother of two. She expressed her concern to the Connecticut-based worldwide surrogacy specialist about this clause in the contract. The agency told her the situation she's dealing with is quite rare. She went on to ask the agency if she could help financially assist the couple regarding care for their child so they would not abort him. And told his parents she's heard of people surviving with the condition. Despite her best efforts, the parents with two different last names told the surrogate he and his wife had already removed the baby's 12-week ultrasound from their fridge. So the baby's dead to them. So they took the ultrasound off their fridge and they've wiped it out of their liberal, twisted California nutcase minds, these psycho sickos. Despite her best efforts, the sperm and egg donor told the surrogate that he and his wife had already removed the baby's 12-week ultrasound from their fridge at home and told her she could mail the 20-week images, but to address the envelope only to him, the sperm donor. Upon researching more about the heart condition, the surrogate, Miss West, found a hospital in Dallas, Texas, has had a 100% success rate in recent years, with the first of 3 surgeries an effective baby would need right after birth. She then told the surrogacy agency that she would live with a friend in Texas to mitigate the cost for the couple, but a liaison for the agency said the biological parents were still concerned about the baby's future quality of life. And what these California liberals were really concerned about is how a baby was going to impact their life. They want a perfect baby that doesn't interfere with their life, with 2 different last names. The surrogate, Miss West, was told to officially undergo an abortion the Monday after the diagnosis by the couple. As she would be 24 weeks pregnant at the time of the abortion, she said in court documents that she was appalled at the idea that doctors would inject the baby with a solution that would stop his heart. A nurse told her that she reached out to a friend, a podcaster who knows Lila Rose, who got involved. And the biological parents went on to file a $250,000 lawsuit demanding she return the money they paid her as a surrogate, as well as any additional charges. They also demanded she come to them to California to give birth. Yeah, so they could take possession of the baby with the liberal nutcase judges out there and refuse its surgery so it would die. But it was unclear whether they would allow doctors to perform the life-saving surgery. That's correct. They would not have done it. They would have allowed the baby to die. Through her attorneys, West agreed to go to California if the parents committed to providing the baby with surgery. West filed a lawsuit in the Superior Court of Alaska, where she's from, seeking sole custody of the baby so she can allow doctors in Texas to treat baby Gabriel. On Tuesday, just a day before the birth of baby Gabriel, West secured a legal victory in her case after she petitioned a family district court in Dallas, Texas, to allow the child to remain and receive the life-saving care. West was supported in her efforts by Texas Attorney General and Trump-endorsed Senate Republican MAGA candidate Ken Paxton, who submitted a brief Monday arguing that state law requires that physicians provide medically necessary treatment. So Ken Paxton saved this baby's life along with this brave surrogate mother. Now, the custody of the baby is in the courts now. The sperm and egg donor in California don't want the baby. The baby's already dead to them. They took the ultrasound, remember, off the fridge. Sickos. And the surrogate mother is trying to win custody in the courts of the baby. And so this is all just happening, and that part hasn't been resolved yet. But there is a baby that was born and is alive right now, baby Gabriel, in Texas because of Ken Paxton. He literally saved the life of a little baby, and it's not even in the news because he's MAGA and Trump endorsed him. If Tallarico saved a baby, well, he may not want that in the news because if Tallarico saved a baby, it might cost him some of his base vote in the Democrat Party. But when is the last time you heard about a candidate for any public office saving the life of a child? I can't remember the last time I heard such a story. I don't know if I ever have. Directly like this? I don't think so. The media are shameful, and I know they want to. I know Ken Paxton's gone through a divorce, and he's got a girl. I know all that stuff. But boy, oh boy, this was amazing what Ken Paxton did, and he deserves praise and support from everyone in this country. And what he did is what no other candidate in this country has done, and that is bring a baby into the world, baby Gabriel. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. Again, you're welcome to call in about anything I brought up so far. After the top of the hour, I've got some other issues I want to cover. We got a lot to cover on the program today. But you're welcome to call in about anything I brought up so far. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. They're absolutely amazing, Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, you can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. That's amazing. And that's on common sizes that fit some of the most popular vehicles on the road today. And when I say out the door and on the road, Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. So the price that Mike over there at Friendly Tire quotes you over the phone is the out the door and on the road price. He also has thousands of good used tires in stock as low as $35 a tire. That's also out the door and on the road. He does tire repairs. He has all the name brands you know and love. If you have a Tesla, great deal on Tesla tires, and he has the special tools required to handle the Tesla and change the tires on that. He can get tires for any type of vehicle, and a lot of people that are that have industrial vehicles for the companies get their tires there. A lot of door dashers, people like that, Uber drivers and Lyft drivers and such, they burn through tires. They get their tires at Friendly Tire because the prices are so low. And I've been a customer of Friendly Tire in Margate for about 20 years, and the tires are great. My daughter, I got new tires from there on her car, Firestone, before she went to California. And she moved out to California, and she drove back from California on them, and they're still on the car. They're great tires. Give them a call, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be back after this. All right, if you're on hold, stand by, guys. And if you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back after the top of the hour.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept! Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
I'm right here, guys. Okay, I've got so much to cover. I have a couple stories I want to get to. All right. Oh, yes. Okay. This next story is a little scary. It really is. It's a scary one. It's crazy to me. Yeah, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. Just over a minute, we'll be back. 1 minute. Hang in there. Okay. 30 seconds. All right, hour number 2 has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. Welcome. If you're on hold, hang in there. You're welcome to call in about anything I brought up so far, and I brought up some really important stories, and I've got another one. This is Brandon Gill, who is awesome. He's in Congress. He is Dinesh D'Souza's son-in-law, and he's really good. He was on with Will Cain. And let me play this clip, and then I have something to back this up.
Well, I think there's a few things you can say. One is that you've seen the left has used a framework of sort of cultural Marxism, and that's a way of dividing up Americans into either different racial groups, ethnic groups, gender groups, whatever, and sort of playing them off against each other. So large-scale Islamic immigration into the United States benefits the left because they're able to play that group off of other groups and say that you're the victim, you need to be able to come into this country and bring in all of your family members, and it's the evil Republicans who aren't allowing you to do that. That's the one thing. I think on the other hand, you also see what are some of the similarities between socialism and Islamism, and one of them is certainly power.
Okay, so Brandon Gill here, Dinesh D'Souza's son-in-law, he's talking about the Democrats bringing these so many Muslims in, and we've been talking with Ahmed and what's going on in the country, that they have a Trojan horse here with Mamdani and Ahmed, and it's really frightening. It really truly is. And I saw a story, and anytime you bring this up, what do they do? Oh, you're a racist. You hate you're Islamophobe and all this stuff. They just say those things to try to shut you up. Don't let them shut you up. There's obviously a plan here. Hassan Piker said that they're bringing brown people here to impregnate our daughters and our sisters to eliminate white people, right? So there won't be any white babies born, right? I mean, that's Hassan Piker talking on his show. I mean, that's how they talk. And I saw this story on the Fox News website this morning that is really scary, and it backs up what he was talking about, this Trojan horse of Muslims that they've been bringing here since Obama was president. If you remember, in President Trump's first term, one of the first things he did was the Muslim ban, because Obama was bringing so many Muslims in here, trying to overload us with Muslims. Remember that? Look at this. Dallas-Fort Worth Airport to install Islamic foot wash stations inside bathrooms at the airport in Dallas. I can't believe this. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport will install Islamic foot wash stations inside bathrooms, according to the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. The project was officially registered with Texas regulators on July 31st. The installation of the wudu ablution stations, I guess that's what they call them, is expected to be complete by the end of the year. The project consists of adding the Islamic foot wash stations to existing concourse-level restrooms in Terminal D, one men's station in existing men's restrooms, and in women's restrooms as well. It's privately funded, they say. Okay, I bet it is. It goes on and on and on. Some conservatives are outraged over the project plans. You better bet that, yeah. While others urge people to take more measured approaches, noting the new stations are not about pushing an ideology. They're Islamic foot wash stations. They're about normalizing Islamic people in our society. They're slowly doing it, like they have finished doing in the UK. I've said this since 9/11. I would not knowingly fly in an airplane with Muslims on board, okay? Muslims scare people at airports. You know why? I don't have to tell you. And no, and you know what? Most people wouldn't fly in an airplane with Muslims on board if they knew. I'm sorry, that's what it is. Maybe I've got PTSD from 9/11, having, been alive when it happened. And I think a lot of Americans feel that way. They're doing here slowly what they've done in the UK, and they're pushing hard in Texas. They're trying to build that big mosque. That failed. Now they're trying to build a housing development. Now they're putting Islamic foot wash stations in the women's room and men's rooms at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. They are targeting Texas like no one's business. These are scary times we're in. They really are. And you look at what the Democrats are doing around this country. Everywhere the Democrats are involved, they're not doing anything good for this country. Everything the Democrats are doing, no matter what it is about one thing and one thing only. And that is to bring about the downfall of this country. They hate us. They hate the United States. Okay? And Abdul here, who is their new golden boy, Mamdani 2. All right? Here's a clip of Abdul.
Are you in favor of public ownership models like the one Bernie introduced?
So public ownership models. So this is what they're calling the seizure of private property into the communist collective.
Are you in favor of public ownership models like the one Bernie introduced?
So I want to actually take it a step further.
Okay. And notice how they have all these code words and phrases to disguise communism. Public ownership models. Oh my goodness.
Are you in favor of public ownership models like the one Bernie introduced?
So I want to actually take it a step further.
Okay.
I agree that we need public ownership, but I also agree that we need some system of public control.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point of democracy if it's not to protect us from existential risk?
See, they use all these millennials. They use all of these fancy words and languages and everything else. Make no mistake about it. The Democrat socialists are communist. They're promoting communism. And when you hear them talk amongst themselves, they're pretty open and out of the closet about it. Public ownership model. See, they change. They come up with all these fancy words and phrases that they think covers up what they do. And then here we have, this is crazy. There's a new photograph of Ahmed that's just come out. And this is Abdul, new photograph of Abdul. And he's shaking hands and hanging out with a minister from the Nation of Islam. His name is Troy Mohammed. And he's shaking hands with him. He's taking pictures with him. He's all excited at some Muslim event that he's at. And the guy he's in the picture with says that black and Jewish people represent Satan. Now, some of you may say, well, wait a minute, that's just a picture. How can you come to some conclusion that he supports this guy because they're in a picture together? Well, I've been hearing you guys for 10 years say because President Trump took a photograph at a celebrity event with Stormy Daniels that they had sex. I don't take pictures with people that say blacks and Jews represent Satan, but Ahmed does. Okay, now we're going to take our first break of the day, and then after the break, I'll take some more calls. I want to talk about life imaging. You know, listen, life imaging and the work they do is absolutely amazing. They're saving lives through preventative health care each and every day over at Life Imaging. There's no doubt about it. And August being National Wellness Month, it's a great time to go in for that heart scan and to make August the time of year that you go every year and have the heart scan. You know, you should have a heart scan once a year, all right? It takes just a few short minutes, and it's in an open system, right? You know, you don't have to put on a medical gown and get undressed or anything. You know, when I went over to Life Imaging for the first time, I didn't know anything about it. I just like you guys. I went over there and went through the process so I could talk to you about it. And I go into the room for the heart scan. I started taking off my watch and everything, and they said, no, you don't have to do that. Not even your watch. I said, I don't have to take off and put on a gown. And they said, no. And I had my jeans on, I had my shirt on, everything. And I got the scan. And it takes just a few short minutes. So there's no excuse. When you're at Life Imaging, also make sure you ask about their full body cancer screening and virtual colonography and say goodbye to sedation. They have locations in Palm Beach County, Broward County, Dade County, and Orlando. Call now for your free heart scan with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan and you will be connected in seconds. All right, we'll take our break, come back with more. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig, back right after this.
Hi, Tom Laporta here. We are Laporta Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At Laporta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At Laporta Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
What if your expertise could help your customers around the clock, even when you're sleeping? You could do just that with Twin. That's TWIIN. Twin is an AI-powered platform that transforms your knowledge into a smart assistant that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whether you're a business owner, Airbnb host, consultant, coach, creator, real estate professional, or technical expert, Twin learns from your expertise to provide instant, personalized answers through a simple QR code or direct link. Imagine your customer scanning a product and receiving expert advice instantly. Guests at your vacation rental can find house rules, local recommendations, and troubleshooting tips without sending you a message. And your clients get the answers they need exactly when they need them. There's no coding, no complicated setup, and no tech experience needed. Just upload the files you already have. And
okay, we're almost back, so I don't have time to finish that. So stand by. I'll play that commercial coming up. All right, we are back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Let's go back to the phones. Phones have been very busy today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Oh, hey, Richie.
I agree with you probably 99%, but I'm torn, Brian. Here's why I'm torn. You talked about the Muslim foot washing deals at the airport. You also talked about the abortion issue at the beginning of your show. You see, I believe, this is my personal belief, but I don't think that what I believe and my morality should be governed by any government, including your beliefs. I mean, you believe that you're against abortion, and your belief is forced on.
I'm confused. Are you disagreeing with me or something, or playing devil's advocate? Because you're not making a lot of sense.
No, I'm going to make a lot of sense to you. You're against abortion. You started your show this morning with the baby being saved by Ken Paxton.
Yes.
And this is your belief, and we passed Roe v. Wade, and I saw the other day, which was disgusting, that the governor of Massachusetts signed a law saying abortion up to the time of birth.
Yes.
And there was all women standing there applauding with 3 female doctors. So they believe in abortion, and you don't, and I don't. Okay, but the government stuck their nose in it, and for example, you're pro-life, and that's your deal. But you don't want to put somebody to death. You don't want the state to get involved in putting somebody to death that might have killed somebody. You're against the death penalty. So my point is, I believe in everything that you believe in, but I don't think the government has the right to get involved. I really don't. I think any public government
Okay,
thing
okay. Did you hear the details of the story I was talking about? Because you're kind of rambling.
Yeah, I heard the whole.
Okay,
I heard the whole thing.
I'll just do a quick recap. There's a surrogate mother. She was carrying a baby for this liberal couple in California. One of the ultrasounds showed that the baby had a heart defect that could be corrected surgically. The sperm and egg donor wanted her to abort the baby because they didn't want to be bothered. She refused to abort the baby. She went to Texas. Ken Paxton stood up for her. The baby Gabriel, was born yesterday and is receiving the life-saving surgery. And so
okay.
I don't understand how you could take. I don't understand what you're disagreeing with.
I agree with my morality and your morality that it was a great thing that they saved the baby and these people are kooks. But these people that are kooks have rights also, and the government got involved. I don't believe government.
The baby was inside. The baby was inside of the surrogate mother, so she has some rights. The baby's inside of her body, her choice.
I didn't agree. I didn't agree with Roe v. Wade.
They were trying. What was happening the thing about this story. See, it's the hypocrisy of the Democrats. See, the Democrats say her body, her choice. A woman has a right to decide what to do with her body. The baby was in her body. And the left are siding with the sperm and egg donor, trying to force this woman to do something with her body that she doesn't want to do. In fact, they're suing her because of it.
Brad, but what this Roe v. Wade did was give the Democrats, I see Gavin Newsom saying, they took your rights away, all you women, and now they're going after the blacks to take your rights away. This is the Republicans. So my point being that sometimes we get legislation passed, and look what happens to it. Now, your morality is, yeah, but we're saving all these babies. But at the same time, because you're pro-life, but there are people that don't believe the same as you. I can remember.
Okay. All right. You called in to tell me there's people that don't agree with me. I don't understand the purpose of this. Seems like a sensitive. You seem a little triggered by the abortion topic.
I'm triggered because I can remember gambling on Discovery cruise ship, looking 7 miles out at Fort Lauderdale every night that I went and saying, this is insane. They won't let me gamble, and I'm a grown adult on United States land. You all these government, to me, the Congress, the Senate, all these creeps up there are telling me how to live my life, and I think
nobody's telling you how to live your life. All right, Richie, is that it? Boy, Richie's ticked. He's hanging up. Why? I mean, why? I don't.
No, I'm not hanging up.
You don't seem yourself. You seem irrational about this topic.
No, I'm because I don't like the government. I don't like the government. Look, the government could protect.
Let me ask you. I'm going to ask you a personal question. Have you had any involvement with an abortion?
Never.
There's no one that you've been involved with has had an abortion?
No, because I think...
Have you wanted them to have one?
Business.
There's just something...
I don't think it's my business.
Okay.
You know, it bothers me to see people pro-life go nuts over this and cause this division in the country. Because guess what? It's caused division, total division in the country.
Okay, so you think that the government you think the government shouldn't get involved with stopping murders?
I think that's your morality. Their morality.
Well, yeah, I'm against murder. I'm against murder. So yes.
But their morality, it isn't murder. That's
all
what
right,
they think.
Richie. You sound. I gotta tell you, you sound irrational.
I know. I sound triggered because when I hear you say I'm pro-life, and then you're totally against putting a dirt bag in an electric chair, it's like hypocritical.
I'm pro-life and opposed to the death penalty, but you don't hear me advocating.
Why? How can you?
You don't hear me advocating against it. I really don't think about it too much.
I'm not against.
I don't think I've ever talked on the show about someone facing the death penalty and argue that they shouldn't get it.
No, but you say you wouldn't do it.
No.
You don't believe in it. So I accept that. I think that's great. But at the same time, you called a bunch of people, a bunch of left-wing crazy.
Hey, Richie, I'm gonna move on, but all right, Richie, take care. Now, you guys out there, does Richie sound not himself today? There's something about that issue that has him triggered. He's not making a lot of sense. In fact, he was rambling incoherently on like 5 different topics. It sounded like someone either was triggered or who has had a stroke. You're on the air. What's your name? Oh, hold on a second here. Let me answer all these lines coming in. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
I don't know what Reggie was talking about.
I don't either. It was very confusing.
Not only you and I, but every human being will be held accountable for everything we've ever done.
Well, listen, this is not a generic. Hold on, I want to slow down here. This is not a generic.
But
don't lose your. Okay, say your thing.
All governments will be held fully accountable by the Lord Jesus at the judgment throne. And
that's true.
If they say it's okay to murder children, they're going to be held accountable.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's all true.
Right.
That's all true. However, this is not some.
They do have a right to.
Listen.
They do have a right to implement God's command.
Hold on a second here. This is not some generic abortion discussion. We're not playing that old board game Scruples where we throw out a topic and just randomly talk about it. There's a woman who's a surrogate mother. She's carrying a child that 2 liberal lunatics in California donated the sperm and the egg to. The ultrasound show. This is a national story. It's out of Texas. The ultrasound showed that the baby had a heart defect. The sperm and egg donor parents wanted her to abort the baby. The surrogate mother said no. She went to Texas for safety because, the parents, the egg and sperm donor were trying to lure the surrogate mother to California so they could do the baby in. She went to Texas, traveled there all the way from Alaska. Ken Paxton supported her in this, who's the Trump-endorsed candidate for Senate, so that not only was she able to give birth, that the sperm and egg donor parents actually are suing her, demanding she had an abortion. The baby was born yesterday, and Ken Paxton's making sure that the baby gets the life-saving surgery. And the media aren't covering this because Ken Paxton was endorsed by Trump. He's a Republican. There's a baby that was just born in Texas because of Ken Paxton. They don't want you to know about it. And these Democrat Nazis who call Republicans Nazis, these Democrat Mengelas, were trying to force this surrogate mother to have an abortion because they didn't want to be bothered with a heart condition in a child growing up. And that's what the topic is. It's not a random generic discussion about abortion, but there's something about abortion. When I brought it up in the past, although it's been a long time, Richie's triggered by that topic. I asked him if he has any connections to abortions. He says no, but it certainly is something that riles him up for some reason.
It really is. But I applaud that Paxton for doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Because that woman has all authority over that baby when it comes to giving it life-saving medical attention or having it killed. So,
well, not in California. There's a contract that the surrogate mother signed with these California sperm and egg donors, okay? And it required her to get an abortion if there was an anomaly with the baby. They call it a fetus, but if there was an anomaly, something about the baby they didn't like, it required her to abort the baby. They're suing her for breach of contract because she didn't abort the baby. It's crazy.
That is a crazy topic, but that woman chose life. And this is my personal opinion. From conception to natural death, we do everything to protect a baby in the womb. It's that plain and simple. That's a life, an image, a child created in the image of God Almighty. and that woman's doing the right thing.
Yep.
So the contract thing is a really weird twist because, I mean, why would you sign something like that?
It's it's probably, my guess is it's probably a standard contract, and it's one of those things that has so much small print in it you don't even know. You know what I mean? It's not. You don't even know it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I praise that lady for doing that, and going to Texas was
And
the best.
Ken Paxton, who stands with her and makes sure that the baby got the life-saving surgery. I mean, so, with his job in Texas. So these are great things, and the media don't want you to know about it because they want Tallarico.
Right.
All right, listen, Jeff, I got to run. I'm up against the break.
Have a great day.
All right, take care. I want to, if you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk to those of you that are in pain, and of course, I'm talking about Dr. Philip Appleton. Here's one of the cool things about Dr. Appleton's robotic laser wave pain treatment. It actually repairs the damage that is causing you the pain. Remember, when you have pain, there's something wrong with your body, and the pain is a signal from your body that something's wrong, and the robotic laser treatment actually repairs the damage that is causing the pain. That's why in the 7 times he's treated me for pains, whether it was aging with arthritis, injuries from falling off my skateboard, or a car accident, the pains have never returned because Dr. Appleton, with his robotic laser wave pain treatment, is able to repair the damage causing the pain. It's amazing. Works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Give him a call. Remember, the consultation is free and appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are always welcome, even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, guys, hang in there, okay? Don't go anywhere.
Customers around the clock, even when you're sleeping. You could do just that with Twin. That's TWIIN. Twin is an AI-powered platform that transforms your knowledge into a smart assistant that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whether you're a business owner, Airbnb host, consultant, coach, creator, real estate professional, or technical expert, Twin learns from your expertise to provide instant, personalized answers through a simple QR code or direct link. Imagine your customers scanning a product and receiving expert advice instantly. Guests at your vacation rental can find house rules, local recommendations, and troubleshooting tips without sending you a message. And your clients get the answers they need exactly when they need them. There's no coding, no complicated setup, and no tech experience needed. Just upload the files you already have, and your Twin is ready to work, representing your business with the same knowledge, professionalism, and consistency every time. Your knowledge remains private, fully encrypted, and never used to train public AI models. There's only one you until now. Multiply your time, scale your expertise, be available everywhere. Visit hellotwin.com right now. That's twin spelled TWIIN, and discover how your AI-powered twin can help your business work smarter 24/7. hellotwin.com. Are you feeling trapped by your timeshare? You're not alone, but finding the right exit company can be confusing and overwhelming. That's where FreedomShareSolutions.com comes in. Freedom Share Solutions is a timeshare referral company dedicated to helping connect you with the right professionals for your unique situation. Freedom Share Solutions have built a trusted network of companies and do the research for you so you don't have to spend countless hours trying to figure out who to trust. Best of all, Freedom Share Solutions is commission-based. That means they don't get paid unless you're successful in exiting your timeshare. Their success depends on yours. If you're ready to take the first step toward freedom from your timeshare, let FreedomShareSolutions.com point you in the right direction. FreedomShareSolutions.com, helping put you on the path to freedom from your timeshare. FreedomShareSolutions.com.
All right, we'll be back in about 30 seconds, guys, okay? Hold on, gotta adjust the AC. 10 seconds. I just turned the air down. It's hot. I have a lot of lights around me, plus the equipment. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Kathy from Coral Springs.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
Doing well.
I was following this story a little bit, and I'm wondering, I don't know if you heard about this, if they find her, in breach of contract, do they have to now follow through and pay the mother for carrying this baby?
They want the money back and damages, but I don't know how you can sign a contract requiring you to abort a child. I mean, that doesn't sound like a legal contract.
That's true. I understand that, but I'm wondering now that since the baby's sick, everybody they jump to things because they didn't meet the baby yet. Let the parents meet the baby, take care of this baby, and go through with what they had to go through.
They want that baby to die. The thing about it is this, okay? They may have donated the eggs and the sperm, like AOC's talking about doing all these days, but she was carrying the baby, and the baby was in her body. And the left, her body, her choice, and she has a right to choose what to do with her own body. No one telling her what to do. I would love someone to go to these abortion groups like Planned Parenthood and get their thoughts on this. Remember Scott Peterson, who killed his wife, Lacey Peterson, and their unborn child? Remember that years ago?
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood and the National Organization for Women were advocating nationally to drop the murder charges on the baby because the baby had not yet been born. I mean, so you got some psychos in the abortion movement.
Yeah, I think what happens when these pro-choice people, it's like they don't have a bond with the baby. They don't see it, so it doesn't exist. That's how they put it in their head.
They dehumanize the baby like the Nazis with the Jews. They don't call it a baby, it's a fetus, things like that.
Yeah, they make up these terms and stuff so they disconnect from it, which makes it okay.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's terrible. It's terrible, but anyway, love your show. Thank you so much.
And we love Coral Springs, home of Wings Plus, which has been sponsoring the program from. Oh yeah, hear that? Oh yeah,
Wings in town.
That's right. All right, take care. All
you
right,
too.
you too. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, man. How you this morning?
I'm doing well.
Okay, that's good. Hey, I just wanted to tell you about this one thing. You were talking about earlier. You had a caller talking about the sailors on the aircraft carrier.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sailors on the aircraft carrier.
Yes. The mutineers. The mutineers.
They're not mutineers, Brian. Those guys are not mutineers. Those guys have been on that carrier over the extended time. Pete Hackett need to bring those guys home. And stretch them out. Hello?
Yeah. You just told me to shut my mouth. Now you're complaining I'm not talking? Which is it?
I didn't say shut your mouth. I did not say that.
Did it not sound like you said shut your mouth? It sounded like you said shut your mouth. Okay.
No, I didn't.
What did you say? What did you say that sounded like shut your mouth?
I said Pete Hackett need to bring those guys home.
No, then you said shut your mouth.
I didn't say that.
I'll let the court of public opinion. If you're on an aircraft carrier and you're texting people classified information about situations on the carrier, you're committing a crime.
It's not classified. How is it classified saying that they're running out of supplies?
Because that involves information about the readiness of the carrier. Short on supplies, our supply chains have been cut off. That's classified information.
No, that's not. How is it? That's not classified information. Their supply chains. Why have their supply chains been cut off?
It is. You don't give out.
Why?
Why? Because we're at war with Iran.
So we can't. So you telling me we can't supply our sellers?
What I'm telling you is of course we can. I call BS on the whole story. I think we are.
No, we're not. So what's the plan, Brian? Your problem is you think Pete has sex if Pete has sex.
I know for a fact that you said shut up to me. And you're telling me you didn't.
I didn't.
You said shut your mouth. You said shut your mouth. You said shut your mouth.
I didn't.
No, you did.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Guys, go back. Those of you that are listening online, okay, on my YouTube, rewind the YouTube video to that point. Did Doc not say shut your mouth?
No, I didn't.
If you said that,
maybe you misheard me. Maybe you just
I
misheard
heard
me.
it clear as a bell.
Maybe they said the first. Maybe you heard me. Maybe you misheard me because as I'm talking to you, there's a truck coming in emptying the dumpster.
And the truck and what? The truck emptying a dumpster said shut your mouth?
Maybe you misheard me say something because it was loud noise.
Well, everybody,
I'm
going to leave it up to the court of public opinion on that.
Okay.
Okay. You talk about classified information. I don't believe the story's true. I think that the military.
I believe it's true. I believe it's true.
Well, because you want to.
It's true.
I believe that the military.
Let me finish
Let me finish my thought. Okay.
Okay.
I believe that CNN and the Military Times are making this up. Okay. But getting back to what would be classified information, they're reporting that we have sailors that have on the carrier that are so on the verge of cracking that they tried to jump overboard, and that we can't get supplies through, and we're feeding them rotten food. That is classified information because it gives the enemy secret information about our supply line capabilities and the readiness of the flagship of the whole operation.
You don't think Iran knows our supply capabilities?
Well,
you don't think they know that already?
I don't believe the story's true, but they've heard the story now.
I believe it is true.
Well, because you want to believe it's true. Because you hate
Trump. You
Trump.
believe it's not true.
Because I know it's not true.
I don't hate Trump.
And you didn't tell me to shut my mouth either, right? I know. Stop with the gaslighting. Give me a break. You guys, give me a call. Am I going nuts? I heard it clear as a bell. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Okay. You know, man, these Muslims are so confident in their plot against America. You hear people online saying, oh, we want surreal law and get rid of the Constitution, surreal law better. Another guy here saying, we're taking over America. The Muslims, there'll be more Muslims. And in strength, in numbers, there's strength, right? I told somebody the other day, and I think I sent it to you as well, 750,000 Muslims in New York, over 500,000 in California, 500,000 in California. Illinois is almost over 400,000.
Wow.
New Jersey has over 300,000.
Crazy.
So they're multiplying. And
it's not multiplying. It's colonizing and taking over.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
and now that they're having these Muslim foot wash stations at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, come on.
Foot wash station. You got to laugh, but you say it doesn't sound real. But then all of a sudden, here it is. So they want to accommodate everybody.
Yep.
Nice to be nice, but damn,
yep.
Everybody needs to know what their plot is. To think that they're harmless and they're going to just.
I think the funniest movie that was ever made was Airplane. You ever see Airplane?
Yeah, that was a funny movie.
And Airplane is actually a remake of I think it's a Dana Andrews movie called 0 Hour. If you ever watched 0 Hour, it's a drama. I own the movie. I bought the movie. I love Airplane so much. I bought 0 Hour. It's a serious movie, but they use the same plot. It's hilarious. 0 Hour. Look it up. Okay. You look it up on YouTube and you'll see comparisons scene by scene. But there's a scene in Airplane where they show Arabs going through the metal detectors and the X-ray machines with all the bombs and everything, and they're letting them through. And then one regular guy goes through and they jump him and he's got nothing. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous putting foot wash stations at the airport. For Muslims. Give me a break.
People got to wake up and realize, like one of the guys I told him about this, he says, well, how many Christians are in there? I'm not saying that there's anything wrong.
Well, it's a Christian nation, right? Come on. All right, Doug, I appreciate the call. Now, after the break, there was a big story that dropped on CNN yesterday, and it was remember what Rush used to call an accidental case of journalism? I love that. That was a great line from Rush. An accidental case of journalism. And for those that don't remember, with the late great Rush Limbaugh. Every once in a while, the fake news would actually break some and reports news, and that's what Rush would call an accidental case of journalism. There was an accidental case of journalism where a big story was dropped on CNN yesterday, and I'm going to share it with you after the break. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas, and Joe Thomas is going to be in studio with me tomorrow, and of course I'm talking about annuities. And you know, I make a big deal of telling you that Jupiter Joe Thomas is Jupiter Joe Thomas, not just Joe Thomas all the time. And there's a reason I do that. It's not just to make it easier to remember his website, jupiterjoe.com, where you can find his phone number. Jupiter, Florida is where the successful people live, all right? Don Jr. lives in Jupiter. Remember when Tiger Woods rolled his car over a few months ago? That was in Jupiter. So, you know, I often say, if you want to be successful at something, find people that are successful at what you do and take their advice and do what they tell you to do. And when you're taking financial advice, you want to take financial advice from someone in Jupiter, where Don Jr. lives. Burt Reynolds made the place famous, right? Where Tiger Woods is driving around and hanging out all the time, sometimes rolling over his car. And the fact that Joe Thomas is a financial advisor with over 30 years of experience, a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, achieved by less than 1% of all financial advisors in the world, and that he's in Jupiter, Florida, which has one of the highest incomes per capita in America. It's one of the richest cities in America when you look at the people there. That's who you want to take financial advice from. Okay? Give him a call and schedule your no-charge consultation, no matter where you're located, all right? 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And again, his website, jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back. Just in time for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. I got a big story I'm going to get to after the break. And if you'd like to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat, all right? We'll be right back.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept! Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
On the line is Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. You know, Jamie, a lot of people probably missed the filing deadline for their taxes, and it's not too late for them to file, is it?
No, it's not, Brian. Actually, a lot of people who scramble for the deadline doesn't actually apply to them. If you, in general, get a refund every year and you think that you'll be penalized for filing after the due date, do not worry. Call me now, Jamie Levesque at Swift Tax, to file your taxes whether or not it is past April 15th and you have not filed an extension. So call me now. We can get you filed and get your refund in your bank account as soon as possible.
Yeah, and guys, you can give Jamie Levesque a call no matter where you are located at 954-773-1587. He covers the entire United States. He's based here in South Florida. Call or text Jamie Levesque at Swift Tax, 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587. All right? We'll be back from the radio break in less than 30 seconds. All right? So I'll get to this accidental case of journalism when we get back. If you'd like to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. All right? Stand by. We're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. Okay, so let me get into this. An accidental case of journalism on CNN. Do you know that Barack Hussein Obama may not have actually been the president? Listen to this. This is a panel on CNN. You've got David Axelrod, who's a senior advisor to Obama. And there's a guy whose name I don't know, but they say he was a one-time advisor with President George W. Bush. Listen to this.
In Arizona, he hired the ninjas. What were they called?
Yeah. The cyber ninjas. I'll give you an example of where it has been determinative, and that's in my home state of Indiana, St. Joseph County. The gentleman you previously worked for, David Axelrod, Barack Obama, got on the ballot because Democrats in that county submitted fraudulent ballot petition signatures. People, including the Democrat county chair, went to jail over that. Barack Obama should not have been on the primary ballot in the state of Indiana.
But that's not a voting. That's not a voting issue. Like that's something.
Well, it is a voting issue because he was on the ballot and people could vote for him, and he shouldn't have been.
That's not a Save America Act issue, though. That's not a they're stealing the elections. Illegals are voting. That's an Indiana issue because Indiana is the one that determines who's on the ballot.
How did that get determined?
How did that get determined? It was finally exposed 2 years later. It went through the courts, and several people found themselves in jail. Finally. But that's the problem. It didn't happen. They didn't find it before he was on the ballot. It took years after.
Wow. So Obama illegally, through fraud, got on the ballot in Indiana in the primary. And David, when that was playing, David Axelrod was fuming, and there was nothing he could do about it because it was live, right? These things happen. That guy there, I wonder if he's going to get a talking to, or we're not going to see him on CNN too much moving forward. That was some revelation, and that's exactly right? And again, it's another example of how the news are not in the business of the news. But it's Thursday already. I can't believe it. We have 2 more days left in the week. But do you know what story this week has ticked off the liberals more than anything? You know what it is? That President Trump avoided the assassination, and he got off Air Force One. This story about Air Force One, in particular, Caitlin Collins has been spending all week covering this story about President Trump being secretly taken off of Air Force One in Turkey. She's been reporting on it, it seems like, every day, and she's very upset about it. And now the conventional thinking is she was on the decoy plane, so she was in danger and all that. Blah, blah, blah. Marco Rubio was on that plane. Do you think President Trump would have left Marco on that plane if he thought there was a real danger? In fact, the president said yesterday, or was it the day before, that the plane they moved him to, he thought was more at risk than Air Force One. But Caitlin Collins is humiliated. She's humiliated, and the reason she's humiliated has nothing to do with being on a so-called decoy plane. Caitlin Collins is humiliated because she flew all the way from Turkey all the way back to the United States on Air Force One, even switched planes, and she had no idea the president was not on the plane with her between Turkey and the UK. And it shows that, one, she's stupid, she's not a reporter, and she has no sources to tell her anything. And she's personally humiliated that she thought she was on Air Force One with the president, and she had no idea he wasn't there. And she only found out about it when it was reported, what was it, by the Washington Post or Axios, whichever one. And that's what's got her burned. She feels like people will look at her and say, well, you didn't know he wasn't on the plane? You know, if I was on a plane with the president and I found out he had gotten rushed off or something, I'd get off the plane. Wouldn't you? Absolutely. But you know, well, let me play this clip because I'll run out of time for the top of the hour. But she has some former Pentagon reporter, Barbara Starr. I remember Barbara Starr. I think she was the CNN Pentagon reporter, and they're talking about what happened here on Air Force One in Turkey.
And Compton, how amazing what she is telling the world tonight with this very plain, simple language, which is truth is paramount. Don't lie about it. This is history. And I think this is where the administration has gone wrong. Yes, the president had to be protected at all costs in the face of the Iranian threat that we now know that they felt they had on hand. But look, they got him safely, thank goodness, on a third airplane, and they got him away. That's all good. There's a couple of things, though, that are highly problematic. I don't subscribe to the notion it was a decoy plane, because my question is this. If it was not safe for the president to be on that flight, how was it safe for the media to be on that flight and to be lied to, not to be told the truth? Yeah, again, to be lied to.
Because it was CNN that leaked security problems, supposedly, with the new Air Force One, and and they leak things out they're not supposed to be leaking out. That's why they didn't tell them.
Because the thing is, it was the U.S. military flying the plane. The U.S. military does not put civilians unknowingly at risk. The president.
Okay, so that tells us they weren't at risk, according to the Air Force.
Was gone. He wasn't being threatened anymore, presumably, but the civilians on board were still under threat. And the U.S. military, under orders, flew that plane. Somebody needs to tell me why that's a legal order. Because
okay. So now they're comparing this. Do you hear what they're doing here on Caitlin Collins' show? You know, yeah, she was the Pentagon reporter for CNN. She just looks a lot older now. She doesn't dye her hair anymore. They're saying that the crew of Air Force One followed unlawful orders. She's calling them basically like Nazis. They're not because they put the civilians in the White House press corps in danger.
That's not what the U.S. military does. And I think the other issue that the New York Times, of course, is beginning to explore in detail is the Iranian capability in the region. What we know is U.S. intelligence has been watching very carefully. The Iranians are improving in their precision, in their accuracy of their weapons, in their mobility. In other words, their ability, even while under attack from the U.S. and the allies in the region, their ability to move around and plan and stage attacks. And their precision is something, and their accuracy of their weapons is something that the U.S. is going to have to deal with now for years to come in the region. This is a new level of accuracy by the Iranians.
Oh my goodness, she's pumping up the Iranian military, and Caitlin Collins is freaking out because now she looks like she was scared, like she was actually well, stop leaking information out that's classified in the liberal media, and these things won't happen. Now, it's rainy season, and you don't want to be on the road on bald tires. It rains every day. You want to be on the road with tires that have the proper tread. And with the low prices at Friendly Tire and Margate, there's no excuse for you or your family to be on the road with bald tires. You can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And remember, out the door and on the road, what that means is that Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or even dispose of your old tires, okay? The price Friendly might quote you over the phone is out the door and on the road. And as low as $75 a tire on new tires, out the door and on the road. He also has thousands of good used tires in stock as low as $35 a tire. He also does tire repairs. Give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call right now. He'll give you a quote over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire. All right, we'll be back after this. On the line is Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. You know, Jamie, a lot of people probably missed the filing deadline for their taxes, and it's not too late for them to file, is it?
No, it's not, Brian. Actually, a lot of people who scramble for the deadline doesn't actually apply to them. If you, in general, get a refund every year and you think that you will be penalized for filing after the due date, do not worry. Call me now, Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, to file your taxes, whether or not it is past April 15th and you have not filed an extension. So call me now and we can get you filed and get your refund in your bank account as soon as possible.
Yeah, and Jamie Levac at Swift Tax has a direct line to the IRS, and he will handle everything for you. Give him a call right now. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587.
Are you feeling trapped by your timeshare? You're not alone, but finding the right exit company can be confusing and overwhelming. That's where FreedomShareSolutions.com comes in. Freedom Share Solutions is a timeshare referral company dedicated to helping connect you with the right professionals for your unique situation. Freedom Share Solutions have built a trusted network of companies and do the research for you so you don't have to spend countless hours trying to figure out who to trust. Best of all, Freedom Share Solutions is commission-based. That means they don't get paid unless you're successful in exiting your timeshare. Their success depends on yours. If you're ready to take the first step toward freedom from your timeshare, let FreedomShareSolutions.com point you in the right direction. FreedomShareSolutions.com, helping put you on the path to freedom from your timeshare. FreedomShareSolutions.com.
All right, we'll be back in just over a minute, guys, okay? Just over a minute. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, all right? 888-465-2631. We've had really good calls today. 888-465-2631. Toll free no matter where you're listening. And if you guys could do me the favor of liking the video, I'd appreciate that, guys. When you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please like the video. 30 seconds. All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. I cannot believe how fast this show has gone by. We're in the last hour already. It seems like I just opened up the show. Oh my goodness. So I went to a case. I played earlier, a couple of clips ago, the case of accidental journalism over on CNN. This is CNN yesterday So we go from an accidental case of journalism, that Axelrod moment, to a hardcore fake journalism. Okay, this is CNN yesterday. There was an African-American woman was found hanging from a tree in Mississippi. Okay, this is a new story this week. And of course, because it involves a black woman hanging from a tree, CNN and all their liberalism, they have a black reporter cover the story. And listen to this. This is a CNN reporter. Black woman found hanging from a tree.
Of death. Again, a lot we still don't know here, but obviously the raw imagery of a black person hanging from a tree in the American South evokes a very painful history. Now,
okay, very painful history. Yeah, that every black man who was lynched in the South was a Republican, and every black man who was lynched in the South was lynched by a Democrat. And I imagine that's pretty painful. But black woman found hanging from a tree, and they have their black reporters say this. Now listen, this is wait till you hear the punchline.
Of death. Again, a lot we still don't know here, but obviously the raw imagery of a black person hanging from a tree in the American South evokes a very painful history. Now,
okay, now what CNN is leaving out, which was known at the time, is that the woman, there was an arrest made, and they knew this when they went to air with this. The woman, the black woman, was hung from a tree by her black husband, who was arrested and charged. Okay, listen to this. And they knew it. Her name was Tasia, Tasia. The body of Tasia Fortune was found hanging from a tree on August 3rd in Jackson, Mississippi. Her black boyfriend, which is relevant to this because of CNN. Oh, they weren't married. Okay. Her black boyfriend, Tasia's black boyfriend, this is in the Gateway Pundit, who lives on the same street that she did, because she's no longer with us, was arrested and is being held on bond of $250,000 for being a felon in possession of a firearm. The boyfriend, Terrence, lives with the 5-year-old boy that they had together. He hasn't been charged with the murder yet. He's been charged on the firearm charge while they're investigating. According to WLBT police, also said that the two were in a relationship. They believe he's the one that did the hanging, and CNN left all of that. Of course, he's denied it, but that arrest was known at the time of the story. That's what they do. You know, it's like earlier in the show, I was playing that clip of Dinesh D'Souza's son-in-law, who said that the Democrats are all about division, something I've talked about for years on the program. And what they're doing, because it's an election season, is they want to give you the impression that white people are going around lynching black people in Mississippi. This was a domestic dispute. Her boyfriend, who's also black, he's the one who killed her. All right? But don't let that get in the way of CNN's fake news reporting. Now, you know, how many calls have you heard me take over the last year and a half, since Trump's second term, that are Republicans that voted for Trump twice and 3 times and all this stuff, and they're not MAGA anymore. They just can't. And I always call them out and expose them for being fake, and it falls apart. Well, listen, you know, I was talking about this abortion case with Ken Paxton. Tallarico, listen to this. There was a group called Republicans for Tallarico, and of course, these are Republicans supposedly fed up with Trump. Listen to this. This is in the Gateway Pundit. Okay? Gateway Pundit has learned that a group of activists calling themselves Republicans for Tallarico is completely fake. MS Now aired a segment featuring 3 Texas women who identified themselves as Republicans for Tallarico. Records show they voted, at least some of them they've been able to track down, voted in Democrat primaries and have donated to liberal candidates and liberal causes. So MSNBC interviewed liberal activists claiming to be Republicans fed up with Trump who are voted for Tallarico. Tallarico, this is Gateway Pundit. Tallarico, who has sparked backlash for his fringe views on Christianity, no doubt about that. affection for transgender children and disdain for the American flag, is banking on Republican crossover support to become the first Texas Democrat elected statewide, I guess, since Ann Richards left the governor's mansion. Republicans for Tallarico, this is what they wrote. This is the Gateway Pundit wrote this, okay? Republicans for Tallarico is as real as the 6 genders that Tallarico claims exist. Oh my goodness, this is something else. I tell you, the thing about the left, they have less than zero integrity. It was just like Doc, who told me to shut my mouth in the call, and he immediately says, I didn't say it. They're all about lying, and they're all about gaslighting. And this narrative that all these Republicans have left the Republican Party and are supporting Democrats because they're upset with Trump, and Trump did this and Trump did that. To reject being a Republican and go Democrat, do you know what that involves? And just on the face of it, I was talking about this abortion case in Texas with Ken Paxton, right? If you leave the Republican Party to become a Democrat, you are now coming out in favor of abortion and voting for candidates that support abortion. Come on. How many conservatives could walk away from being pro-life and become abortion advocates? On top of the fact you got to support higher taxes and everything else, and the 28 genders and sex change operations for children. Now people do go from Democrat to Republican all the time. It's very rare. In fact, I only know of a couple of instances where people have gone Republican to the Democrat Party. I know of 3. And when that happens, they were never really Republicans. Okay, and I'll tell you who the 3 are. And one of them is in the news today, is why I'm getting into this. But one of them is the guy that founded, what was that liberal group? The Media Matters. The guy that founded Media Matters was a gay Republican who said he had a realization, and he was he became a Democrat. He was always a Democrat. Ed Schultz, who's passed away, he was on MSNBC, and he was a syndicated radio talk show host. He was a Republican when he started and became a Democrat. And what happened with him, I used to talk about this all the time when he was on MSNBC and when he was on the air. He told this story about how he went to his wife worked as a social worker, and he went to work with her and saw the people she was working with and realized that being a conservative was evil. What he did is he took a scene out of Howard Stern's Private Parts movie and turned it into his fake story. Remember that when Howard Stern in Private Parts is hanging out with his wife at work, and she was working with mentally challenged people? Ed Schultz took that scene of the movie and turned it into his. And what had happened, and this is when Rush became really famous, really super famous, the Democrat Party went around the country looking for a Democrat radio host to be the counterpunch to Rush. And I remember this very well. We talked about it on the air at the time, and Ed Schultz did it, right? They did it. He did it. He sold out, and he never went back. And there's a third one who's here in Florida. And after the break, I'll tell you about them. But first, I want to talk about, Sloman Central Air Conditioning. Oh, my goodness. I went outside yesterday afternoon around 3, 4 in the afternoon to get my mail. I said, it is as hot as the surface of the sun outside. Oh, my goodness. Having an air conditioning unit in your home that properly cools your home is so important, guys. More important than I can explain. And there's no excuse. If you have an air conditioning system that's running all day, shouldn't do that. If you have an air conditioning system that doesn't cool your whole house, meaning you have a room or two that stay hot all day, no matter how long the air conditioning, you need a new unit. And with this offer from Sloman Central Air Conditioning, there's no reason why you shouldn't call them right now and get a new unit. Listen to this. Sloman Central Air Conditioning is offering a 5-ton, 18-SEER system that uses R454B refrigerant for just $59.99 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. Wow. It comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper service plan, which includes annual system maintenance, filter replacement, and refrigerant, so there's no annual maintenance cost. You'll also receive the Sloman Shield home security system installed with 5 years of professional central station monitoring included with your AC package. Call them right now. 561-217-COOL. That's COOL. 561-217-COOL. 561-217-COOL. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hi, Tom Laporta here. We are Laporta Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At Laporta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At Laporta Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
Do you owe back taxes? Jamie Levac at Swift Tax is here to help. He's helped people just like you with their IRS problems, and he doesn't charge those outrageous high fees the other companies demand. Jamie Levac at Swift Tax charges only a small fraction of what those companies charge. Stop worrying every time the mailman comes that he's bringing you a letter from the IRS. Call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax right now, 954-773-1587, 954-773-1587.
All right, hang in there, guys. We're still in break for about 90 seconds, okay? Well, I'm just queuing some things up for the next. I got a lot of stories I haven't touched on yet. Okay. Okay. Just over a minute. We'll be back, guys. How does, oh my goodness. I'll explain that, what somebody just said when we get back. All right, we're back. My name is Brian, Steve Kane Show. I want to play this clip. I was talking about Republicans that have become Democrats. Byron Donalds, who I will be voting for governor. I hope you guys do too. In the Florida primary, he's talking about David Jolly, who's a Democrat running for governor.
David Jolly believes that it's still okay to change the gender of kids. The AMA finally saw the light and said, you know what? This gender reassignment stuff for kids is dumb and we shouldn't do that. You don't mess with the puberty of kids. You don't do it. David Jolly calls these culture wars. Well, let me be the first to tell Mr. Jolly something. If defending girls and defending the puberty of our kids is a culture war, then sign me up. Because we are going to protect our children in the great state of Florida.
Okay, now notice, Byron Donalds, this is an interesting thing. He's flipped out the other Republicans running because he won't debate them and he doesn't talk about them. He's going right after the Democrat here, David Jolly, which is pretty good move. David Jolly, who's one of the Democrats running for governor, he used to be a Republican. He actually served in Congress, and during Trump's first term, he was in the House as a Republican. And he said he switched. And how can you be a Republican? And culture wars, an old Republican term from the 1990s, the culture wars. That was Pat Robertson, Christian Coalition, and all that stuff. And I haven't heard that in a while, the culture wars. But anyway, this is an example. This David Jolly, he was a Republican in the House of Representatives during Trump's first term. Now he's a Democrat and he's supporting transgendered surgery for underage children. This guy, rhinos are Democrats. He was critical of Trump when he was a Republican. Okay? Rhinos are Democrats. They're fake Republicans, all of them. And that's an example. You can't go from being a strong family values conservative Republican to being a Democrat and support that all of a sudden. Republicans are not against sex change operations, although they don't use that term anymore, for adults. It's children we're talking about here because it's too permanent. All right, let's take some calls. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Carlos, Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Hey, Carlos.
Hey, what about Charlie Crist? What about Joe Scarborough?
Well, no, there are a handful.
What about Steele? What about that Steele guy from
Michael,
MSNBC? He used to be the leader.
And all of them are fake Republicans. Charlie Crist, a fake Republican. Joe Scarborough, a fake Republican. And Michael Steele, too.
Didn't Chris say that he turned to a Democrat and then independent, but he went from a Republican to a Democrat?
I think Scarborough became an independent.
Right, but I think Charlie Crist ran as a Democrat after.
He did, and he was. Last I heard of Charlie Crist was a couple months ago. He's so pathetic. He was running for mayor, where he lives over on the Gulf of America coast now. I forget what town it is. He was running for because he just can't handle not holding public office. It shows you rhinos are fake Republicans. They're really Democrats.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, man. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah, no, those are and Michael Steele on MS Now and BC and all of that. And if you go back and listen to them, like Charlie Crist and the rest of them, you'll hear that they were rhinos the whole time, right? That's why rhinos are fake Republicans. But some of them, and I'm pretty sure Joe Scarborough became an independent, not a Democrat. So we could try to save some face with that. But this guy, David Jolly, you don't go, it's one thing if you have some disagreements, but there are certain things that are part of the moral code, right? Pro-life, not supporting sex change operations for children, even taxation. These are three things that are part of the moral code. And if you become a Democrat, you have to become pro-abortion, pro-endless taxation, pro-sex change operations for children. You know what I mean? There's no way that you're really a Republican and you switch to that. It's impossible. Unless you don't care about anything other than either getting elected, you don't care what party you're with, you just got to be elected, or you're an actor on television like Michael Steele. And Michael Steele is, out of all of them, is the worst example because what happened when Obama got elected, before Obama got elected, I remember Republicans talking about this for years, before Obama was even heard of, before we even heard of Obama. They said the first Republican president's going to be, the first black president's going to be a Republican because the Democrats are racist. which is true. They're racist. But then Obama became president. And the Republican Party, some of the leadership in the Republican Party after Obama became president, although with this thing in Indiana, maybe he wasn't president, but when Obama got elected, the Republican Party panicked and started elevating non-white people to positions. Michael Steele became the chairman of the RNC. He was always a liberal, always a liberal. He was not a conservative at all, but he got the job because they were calling us racist and everything else, and these Republican leaders panicked. And there were a few people that got promoted. One of them, most of them have faded away. The only non-white person that got elevated that worked out was Marco Rubio. All of the others failed. Marco Rubio was one of that group that got elevated. He was in Tallahassee at the time, okay? And then ran for the Senate when he was term limited out of office in Tallahassee. And he was part of that wave, but it worked out good. But it was Michael Steele, and the other one was Bobby Jindal. And Bobby Jindal, who's Indian American, right? He was the governor of Louisiana at the time, and he was on everything because the Republicans wanted to show, oh no, we've got non-white people too. And then Bobby gave the response to Obama's first State of the Union, and it was embarrassing. You never heard from him again. Marco Rubio gave the second response, and he choked big time too, but he recovered, and now, look, he's probably going to be president or vice president one day. He looked really good. And that interview with his wife, I saw some more of that yesterday, was very, very good. But out of that class that got promoted, he's the only one who made it. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret, the home of the metabolic reset. You know, the one of the reasons that you may have tried a weight loss program that's failed you in the past is because your metabolism wasn't reset. And what Coastal Weight Loss Secret does, part of the secret, is to reset your metabolism. That's right. And what I have learned is the reason that I haven't gained any of the weight back is because Dr. Zuckerman at Coastal Weight Loss Secret actually reset my metabolism. And still today, I eat what I want to eat. I do. If I'm hungry, I eat, and I eat what I want to eat. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that Dr. Zuckerman would recommend the diet that I'm on, but that the foods that I eat. But the foods I eat are the foods I would normally eat. Okay. And my wife and I don't. I talk about this from time to time. My wife and I don't cook. Every meal is out, whether it's takeout or DoorDash, or we go out to eat. We don't eat at home. So I'm eating out. Rarely do we prepare something at home, and I've kept all the weight off. It's absolutely amazing. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. It works. And I did all of this eating foods I would normally eat without exercise and without starving myself, and also without any pills, shots, or injections. All right? Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-359-3418. 561-359-3418. That's 561-359-3418. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered what it truly feels like to battle the darkest corners of the human mind? From author Mara Solis comes a deeply moving psychological novel that you will want to add to your must-read list, The Never-Ending Maze, available at Lulu.com and Google Play Books. Written in the form of a personal diary, this intimate and emotionally powerful story invites readers into the inner world of a woman searching for hope while confronting loneliness, broken dreams, depression, and the desire to be understood. The Never-Ending Maze explores whether healing, purpose, and light can still be found even in the deepest darkness. Through heartfelt reflections on relationships, faith, mental health, art, and the struggle to keep moving forward, every page offers an honest and unforgettable journey. This book also makes a great addition to your book club. Order your copy right now on Lulu.com and Google Play Books. The Never-Ending Maze, from author Mara Solis. What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
Okay, we'll be back in about 30 seconds, guys. $20 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brother Brian, IB, good morning.
Oh, hey, IB.
3 topics. First, the Navy. Our military gets the best food there is, period, especially the submariners, okay? They have to have a certain amount of calories.
Yes.
They have long hours, long shifts. There's no way under the Trump administration they are not being fed and food is not being delivered.
No,
Plus,
it's total fake news.
Food is inspected. Anyone leaking out any information should be immediately dishonorably discharged. And whoever was involved, if they even have communication capabilities, then we know they are who they are. Always the Democrats. Remember our FBI guys dancing around in dresses. We don't need them in the military.
Exactly.
Number 2, the lady in California with the baby. Look,
Texas.
some of us don't
It's
get
Texas.
to have you don't get do-overs. You have to take the child. Like some people get Down syndrome child, autistic children, and they still keep them because that's what they signed up for. They don't get a do-over. Plus the lady went through the labor. She got the expenses, the hospital bills. Why should they get their money back? Okay, they should just simply walk away and let the lady do what she wants with the child. Just because, they didn't get what they want. The child could have been in perfect health, but then be a mental patient like Ted Bundy and go around raping and killing women.
Can you imagine this story? IB's talking about stories I brought up earlier in the show. I just want to recap this one. There's this story out of Texas. A surrogate mother, she was carrying the baby for a sperm and egg donor for these 2 liberal idiots in California. The baby had a heart defect. They wanted her to have an abortion. She wouldn't do it, so she traveled to Texas to have the baby. Ken Paxton, who the Trump-endorsed Senate candidate, intervened and made sure that not only did she was allowed to have the baby because they were trying to get her to abort it, that the baby got the life-saving heart surgery after it was born. And the story is nowhere in the news. If a Democrat saved the life of a baby, you'd be hearing nothing other than that. Ken Paxton Paxton saves a baby's life. The baby was born yesterday, baby Gabriel. Complete media blackout because they want to tell you that he's getting divorced. He's got a nasty divorce and he's got a new girlfriend. They don't want to talk about the baby whose life he saved.
I think they should have just had a forfeit in the contract. If they walked away from the child, they don't get their money back. If they want to play it that way, and then just leave it alone, okay? And don't go after that lady because what do you want? The baby dead and to give back the money? Yes, that's what
they wanted.
Where does that leave that person?
They said that the contract, they said, required her to have an abortion if there was an anomaly with the pregnancy. An anomaly. Yeah, you can't have a legally binding contract requiring somebody to murder someone if you don't like the person. I mean, my goodness.
The last thing is this. I can't believe I'd rather have Jay from Jersey's call than Doc's because that guy's totally devolved, like you said, okay? He did say shut up, number one.
He said shut your mouth.
He did call Laura Loomer a hoe, okay? He did that as well. And on your afternoon show, he told you to shut up to the point where you have to actually hang up on him, okay? So he knew that. Lie and turn around. You see, because they're not self-aware. Liberals and nut jobs are not self-aware. That's their problem boundary.
They are self-aware, but they have no honor. They have no integrity, and they're all into gaslighting. You know, I mean, he told me to shut. It's crazy. He said something about Pete Hegseth. Then he said, "Shut your mouth" to me. And then he said, "Are you there? Are you there?" And I said, "Well, you just told me to shut my mouth. Now you're complaining I'm not talking." You know, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I mean, you know, come on.
Because he caught himself. That's why he had to stop and ask if you were there because you were actually listening. He didn't expect that, like you would talk over him, like he wanted to talk over you. He did say that. Everybody can go back to that point in the show.
Yeah.
And he's just not self-aware. He's a liar. And you know what? It is what it is. You can have who you want on the show, but I can't believe I'd rather hear Jay from Jersey than that guy.
Jay from Jersey hasn't called in a while, I don't think. I don't think I've talked to him in a while. All right.
At least
I don't know how long it's been, but I don't think Jay from Jersey, I don't remember the last time I spoke with Jay. I didn't even notice he hadn't been calling until IB mentioned it. You know, well, what it is, you know, Doc from Texas, he calls earlier in the show, and what's happened with Doc from Texas is something that's happened with many liberals involved in this program over the years, okay? We have always had this group of different chronics over the years, and some of them are more well-known than others. Remember Black Randy? The Black Phantom's the most famous. You know, there's been a whole bunch of chronics over the years. And this is the longest running radio show. So the show's outlived some of the chronics. Remember the Pink Phantom? You know, these people there, you know. But what happens a lot of times with liberals, and this is where Doc is at, they start to feel stupid when they say their liberal things out loud and we have discussions about them. And what happened with Doc is he was starting to agree with me on things. And I pointed this out to him. I said, you know, you're getting red-pilled. And ever since then, he just lost his mind. And his value as a caller decreases every time he calls. It's worse than the one before. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Eric from Deerfield. Doc is a turkey, but he did say switch them out. Not shut your mouth, Brian. I think he said
switch them out. He said switch them out. Yeah. He didn't say that he said switch them out. He didn't say that.
Them out.
When I asked him what he said, he didn't say that he's... I'll go back and listen.
Yeah.
Switch them out? Oh, my God. All right, Deerfield. I mean, am I being gaslighted or what? I'll go back and listen. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Oh, hey, JJ.
You know, I think starting
Switch
off
them
the way
out.
you did the show, I mean, to me, I see God's light in the baby Gabriel story.
Oh, it's huge.
I see, and I just think to me that I mean, you know, listen, maybe for some people it doesn't, but for me, it gives me chills because that's I see God at work here, and I, you know, listen, all the talk about the government is involved in too much this and that. I mean, the world we live in is what it is, and the strong need to protect the weak, and we, you know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I know that's the Declaration of Independence, but it is woven into the cloth of our Constitution. Children, babies in the womb, that is a life, and we protect life. We protect our elderly. That is what we are supposed to do. So I just think that's a beautiful story.
Well, you know, in this birth of baby Gabriel, he was able to be born alive in Texas because of Ken Paxton, Lila Rose, and Lila Rose. She used to work with Andrew Breitbart, and she worked with James O'Keefe before he was famous. And you guys may remember Lila Rose. She used to go undercover as a 15-year-old to Planned Parenthood abortion facilities around America.
Yes.
And she would tell them she was 14 or 15 and impregnated by like a 35-year-old man. And every time they were going to give her the abortion. And she was all wired up with cameras and sound. Remember those? That was Lila Rose.
Yeah.
She still looks young. If you see her, she still looks very young. And Lila Rose is an American saint who has saved so many lives. And this story about Ken Paxton and baby Gabriel, I went through the whole story twice earlier in the show, so I'm not going to do it again now. You guys can go back and listen while you're listening for what Doc really said. He didn't say switch them out, give me a break. That story is being suppressed by the media because Ken Paxton is involved in it, and he's endorsed by the president. And it's significant because Texas is where Roe v. Wade came from. Right? Norma McCorvey, the woman in the Roe v. Wade case, she went to Texas.
It came back home.
Exactly. Everything, it's traveled full circle. And these liberals in California were trying to force this surrogate mother to have an abortion. They're suing her for $250,000 plus other expenses because she didn't have an abortion. And it's a big story. I don't think she'll have a problem raising the money to find representation.
Nope. Yeah, no, it's definitely a God. It's a good versus evil, God versus the devil to me. This is like it's a Saint Michael, defend us from the wickedness and snares type of story. I love to see it. It makes me it just refreshes me. It gives me hope for so many things. And in a way, you can almost tie it into the story about the food on the carrier is such a. I mean, it's a joke. It's so fake to me. You look at it's like the SPLC. I mean, the SPLC model is the
Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah,
where they had the arrests.
They create it's theater. They don't report a story. They create a story, like with Tellerico. It's a negative. It's just basically a negative cloud story to try to put over Trump, Pete Hegseth, the entire MAGA movement. It's lying.
This story about the aircraft carrier was CNN. I mean, there was one guy one sailor who may have tried to jump overboard, whose life was saved by others on board. And CNN has created this story where there were a group of sailors on the Abraham Lincoln that are so worn down by the Iranians and they have no food on board or anything else that they had a pact. And like the Hale-Bopp Comet people were going to jump overboard together into the Persian Gulf. That's how they reported it. I mean, and it was one guy, if it's true, and he's a nutcase.
Yeah. Listen, the people, I mean, it does happen. I mean, the thing about the military, it's full of people. The military is made up of people, and people do have breakdowns. It does happen.
Sure.
And it's not because of the food. I mean, God only knows if it's even true. But those guys eat, I mean, good Lord. Probably 90% of the world would love to eat the food that those
Everybody
guys
knows they have the best food on aircraft carriers. I've never heard of an aircraft carrier, and this isn't World War II. We fly in food on aircraft carriers.
They can fly it in, exactly.
Come on.
They can fly it in, but they also have supply. There's supply ships all over the place in the Arabian Sea, over in the Middle East.
It's all CNN is putting out Iranian propaganda. That's it. Listen, I got to run for the Gold Report, but appreciate the call. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll take our break and be right back.
Every day brings new possibilities, an opportunity to create, an opportunity to discover something that adds a little more inspiration to your life. At Invictora, every collection begins with a simple idea. Wonderful discoveries should be exciting, memorable, and accessible. Thousands of possibilities are waiting to be explored. The next one could be yours. Begin your journey at Invictora.com. ENVICTORA.com. Invictora, inspired by possibility. Interior designers understand an important truth. Furniture shapes the way a room feels. The right dining table invites conversation. The right bed frame transforms a bedroom into a retreat. This philosophy guides every collection at Claritin. Carefully selected furniture pieces combine timeless elegance with modern design, helping you create spaces that feel luxurious and unmistakably your own. Discover the collection at Claritin.com. Clarityn.com. Claritin, designed for the way you live.
All right, stand by. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with today's Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking today?
Metals looking good. Nice big rally yesterday, forging higher on all four of the metals, and now today we got a little bit of a pullback, maybe a little profit taking, but these markets look like they're wanting to go much higher. Yesterday, we saw gold trade in a range of $4,361 on the low, all the way up to $4,441, and closed out the day at $4,407.70. That was up $40.60 on gold, $44.0770. Silver up 65 cents at $65.21. We've had like almost a $15 rally in silver on this move. Platinum up $11 yesterday, closing at $1,748. Palladium up $6 at $1,350. So we're a long ways from the $3,900 gold that we saw a week ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, gold is at $4,391. That's down $16.70 after trading overnight in a range of $4,363 on the low to $4,450 on the high. Silver down 26 cents right now at $64.95 the ounce. Platinum down $20 at $1,728. And palladium down $35 at $1,315. So maybe a little bit of profit taking, good day to come in and add to your positions. We'll see how long these lower prices last, so I don't think they're going to last very long.
Yeah, and when we talk about the metals, we talk about ounces, but the gold and silver come in different sizes. In gold and silver, what are some of the common things that people buy from you that are larger than an ounce in gold and in silver that you would recommend?
That are larger than an ounce?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the very popular gold things are 10-ounce gold bars. We saw a lot of 10-ounce gold bars. Some some people even buying the kilo gold bars, which have a very low premium on them per ounce. So if you're buying, stacking hundreds of ounces of gold, kilos are a very good way to do it. We really like the 10-ounce gold bars also. And as far as silver is concerned, the best form would be the 100-ounce silver bars for larger buyers. But we also have 10-ounce silver bars and kilo silver bars. So there's plenty of good products for every budget and for every purpose.
Yeah, and those bars are beautiful, and the 10 and the hundreds, it's easy to keep track of your value with those because you just multiply by 10 and you know exactly how much you got, right? I mean, so those are pretty popular. Listen, give William Youngerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. And the number's toll free 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. You can stop in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto, and find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, just reminding everybody that our rare coin inventory goes from the ancient periods. We have ancient Rome, Greek, and Byzantine coins all the way to modern times. So we've got a selection of everything in the numismatics.
And those of you that are collectors, William, we just talk about this briefly because we're running along, but when people that are collectors, you have a specialty in helping collectors not only build collections, but making sure, finding those coins they need to complete the collection they may already have, and also making sure people aren't getting ripped off and paying too much for the collectible coins, right?
Yes, indeed. Exactly.
Yeah, give him a call. All right, guys, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Have a great day.
All right, take care. Take care. One of the big problems the Democrats have is they've lost their base. They've been trying to get this thing going for the last year and a half that all these Republicans have left MAGA because Trump is with it's all nonsense, like the Republicans for Tallarico scam I was covering. But the Democrats really are losing their base. Chris Matthews went on MSNBC yesterday. I want to play some of this. And Chris Matthews is a lifelong Kennedy Democrat. He's in love with the Kennedys so much, he bought a house down the street from the Kennedy compound in Massachusetts. I'm serious. It was a heart attack. He had a show for many years called Hardball with Chris Matthews on MSNBC. It was the political show of record. It was so popular, he did 2 shows a day, kind of like me, one in the morning, one in the afternoons on YouTube. But he did a show at 5 and then came back from 6, took a break, came back at 7, did another hour. He worked for President Jimmy Carter in the White House. He worked for Tip O'Neill, the famous Democrat Speaker of the House. He is a long-time Democrat. And he went on MS Now yesterday talking about these socialists, and it's amazing.
Here's what I think, and I've been thinking about this for days now. The DSA has done a favor to non-DSA Democrats, to regular Democrats who are regular members of the party. They've listed what they believe in. Their chair made that clear. It's in Peggy Noonan's column this week. It's very clear. We're going to get rid of ICE, not just ICE. We're going to get rid of the border. We're not going to have a border anymore. We're not going to effectively control people coming in and out of the country. And so I think we're going to get rid of prisons. We're going to get rid of the Pentagon. We're going to negotiate. Well, what happens when your hostages are your former diplomats, like what happened with President Carter? People take your diplomats hostages. What do you do then?
Exactly.
You need an army. You don't like to have an army, but you do need to have one. All these positions can be denied by any regular Democrat. All you have to do is go out there and say, thank you, DSA, for telling us what you believe in. I don't believe in that stuff. And discriminate, because you can't follow AOC. I like AOC generally, but she came out and said, we're just a big tent party. Well, the problem with the big tent defense is every Democrat has to defend all this crap coming from the left.
Exactly.
They've got to say, I believe in all this crazy stuff. And
notice how he says the Democrats have to defend all this coming from the left. So he is what Chris Matthews is doing here. Lifelong Democrat, one of the most famous Democrats, well-connected Democrat establishment guy. He was a speechwriter for President Carter. And I want to say that he worked for Governor Cuomo, the original Mario Cuomo, too, didn't he? Am I wrong about that? Or was that? No, Stephanopoulos did. I think I think Chris Matthews worked for Mario Cuomo too. I could be wrong. No, it was that was Tim Russert. He worked for Carter and Tip O'Neill. He's actually arguing the MAGA agenda. Chris Matthews is arguing the MAGA agenda: deportations, strong police, strong military, secure border.
That makes me a Democrat. You've got to say, no, I'm not a member of the DSA, and here's why, and make it very clear. So it's going to require politicians to be good politicians and say, here's where I stand.
Right.
This is what I'm a regular Democrat. I'm for labor unions. I'm for opportunity for everybody. I'm for civil rights. I'm for all the things I believe in as a Democrat. But I'm not with this crowd. And I think that's going to be a line that has to be drawn by Democrats, because I'm telling you, the last 6 weeks of this election is going to be an attack on El Sayed and the DSA in New York and the Mamdani, and it's all going to come out and blame every Democrat for everything the DSA is doing. I don't believe in the DSA plan. I don't believe in their checklist of what they believe in. I'll say so. But running for office is going to require that, I think, before the election.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we've never seen before, right? Remember the president, he always said in the first campaign, say what you want about Democrats, but they always stick together. Well, that's no longer the case. And, Chris Matthews, a lot of you may not remember Chris Matthews, but if Democrats do, and it's not a mistake that they have him on MS Now talking about this. And I've been telling you guys that the Democrat establishment want to lose the midterms so they can blame the Democrat socialist and purge them from their party. And this whole mainstreaming that they're trying to do with Fetterman and AOC and others. And you hear Chris Matthews defending having a strong military, defending having police, defending having a border, referring to, these are all MAGA principles that Chris, remember I told you that the Democrat establishment are using that 1960 or that 1996 strategy of Bill Clinton's triangulation. You hear Chris Matthews is doing it. They have some grown-ups in the party who have been brought in out of mothballs from retirement homes to advise them. And what they're doing is they're taking conservative positions. You just heard from Chris Matthews, one of the legends in the Democrat Party. His show was the political show of record, and he got hooked up on, for some reason, I want to say the Me Too movement. Something happened with him. I can't remember what it was. It's not important. But you have him arguing the MAGA position on the key issues. The key issues, he's talking like a MAGA Republican. They're trying to, don't be fooled by it. He said Democrats have to argue against all this liberal, and then he used the C word there. He's referring to the Democrat socialists as liberal, so they're no longer liberal. They're reasonable, establishment Democrats. You notice that we're seeing this transition happen. I predicted this, and now it's happening. And this Chris Matthews moment is going viral. It's not an accident it's going viral. They're making it go viral. But don't fall for it. They're still liberals, and they still support all this stuff. They gave it to us, right? I mean, they're going to pretend to be conservatives, but don't fall for it, okay, guys? You know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow's Friday, and every Friday on the program is Open Phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. That's tomorrow. You won't want to miss that. I want to talk to you about Jamie Levack over at Swift Tax. Couple things here. Number one, Jamie Levack is located here in South Florida, okay? So if you want to meet with Jamie Levack in person, please do. He would be very happy to meet you in person at his office here in South Florida. But Jamie Levack can help you with your taxes no matter where you're located in the United States, over the phone and through a video call. He's very good. If you're a business owner of any size, call Jamie Levack at Swift Tax. You can also text him. I'm going to give you the number in a moment. This number rings directly to Jamie Levack, so you can call or text, okay? He can help you with your business taxes and your bookkeeping, no matter how large or small your business is. If you have a home-based business or a big brick-and-mortar operation, he can help you with your taxes and your bookkeeping, including your payroll taxes, no matter where you are in the United States. If you work in the gig economy, an Uber driver, DoorDash, or Lyft driver, you want to call Jamie Levack at Swift Tax. He has a specialty in helping you with your taxes. If you're not using Jamie Levack at Swift Tax and you're in the gig economy, you're driving, I don't know how many days a week just to pay the tax man that you don't have to be, okay? If you owe taxes to the IRS, or missed the tax filing deadline this year or have years you haven't filed your taxes, call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He can help. He's awesome. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. All right, so tomorrow is Friday. That's every Friday is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Friday's show, the show prep is up to you and the listening audience. You can call in on Friday with any and everything on your mind. You don't even have to comment on the things that we bring up. Monday through Thursday, you do. But on Friday, the show prep is up to you, okay? That's tomorrow. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And it's our open phone day. And I think that's, sometimes it's the best show of the week, and then other times it's the most embarrassing show of the week. But it's, hey, in those instances, you see why we don't do open phones every day. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. The show flew by. I feel like I just opened up the show, and we're 3 hours in. See you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Take care. All right, guys. If you're new to the program, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video, okay? When you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please like the video. That really helps a lot, okay? Grow the channel, and it's greatly appreciated. My name is Brian Craig. I will see you this afternoon. Take care. This is where MAGA comes to talk.